and all that, and you don't miss any of the shows here on 96.5 The Fan.
Or any of the other content, We like to stay busy over there on the social media channels. Love for you to subscribe and interact with the show. As always, this show does a very good job of monitoring the chats. So, if you're trying to interact with us, the text line's a great way to do it, but also the YouTube and Twitch chats are a great way to do it.
So the Chiefs get the Bills on Sunday, and that kicks off the toughest stretch of the season, undoubtedly. At Buffalo, bye week. At Denver, home to the Indianapolis Colts. And the Colts will be coming off a bye week when the Chiefs play them. So, yes, the Chiefs get the bye going into Denver. But
although Denver gets a mini bye, don't they? They're playing a Thursday night the week before. So they get 10 days. It's not like you have a decided amount of rest.
And then the Colts have a full bye week, I believe. Now, they might be international the week before, so however you want to play that out. But they will be on a bye week before they take on the Chiefs. But the Colts next Sunday, I think, are in like Madrid or one of the international markets. So that's something to keep in mind. And so we've done this exercise, bigger picture, what's the record? But what do you think they have to get to during that 3-game stretch for a couple different things? What does the record have to be for you to believe that the AFC West is still right there? What's their record have to be where you think the number 1 seed conversation has to be there? I'm not going to even to make the playoffs because I don't think anybody's worried about that. So really it's those two criteria. For me, starting with the number 1 seed, to stay alive in that conversation, I think we've been clear about what they have to do. They have to, in my opinion, for the 1 seed.
Beat Buffalo.
Split with Denver. So maybe it's this one, maybe it's the one at home on Christmas night. And beat the Colts. So they could go 2-1 in this stretch as long as the 2 wins are at Buffalo and at Indy, in my opinion, for the number 1 seed. For the division, they don't have to go 2-1 to stay alive in the division. They would need to make sure they beat Denver and avoid going, of course, an 0-3 stretch. I don't think anybody's worried about them losing all 3 of these games.
No, I don't know, but 1 and 2 would be pretty devastating to the division odds. So we know the teams they have to beat in order to get. They have to beat Denver, maybe not in this stretch, but at least once, somewhere along the way. They have to beat the Bills and they have to beat the Colts. So they have to win 2 out of 3 no matter what. And specifically those 2, as you mentioned, for the 1 seed. They have to win 2 out of 3, I think, to win the division. If you start looking at the other teams' schedules, the Broncos and the Chargers, and the lead they already have on you, you're halfway through the season. You can't be giving up games at this stage, right? You can't be giving those up. And so if you do that, then you run yourself into a big trouble. My best guess is that they finish 2-3 in this stretch. That I love the way the Chiefs are playing.
2-1.
2-1, sorry. Win 2 out of 3. That they are playing really good football, consistently really good football, and that odds are they're better than 2 of these 3 teams and they'll beat. But the fact that 2 are on the road, 1 is a bye week, but not as big of a bye week advantage as they would normally get over Denver. 1 is at home, but the team is coming off a bye week in Indianapolis. Although maybe that's a rhythm team. Maybe them finally taking a week off actually hurts the squad.
Yeah, they'll be coming off an international trip.
So that part could change it. I just meant they're in a good rhythm right now. If I were the Colts, I wouldn't want to buy at all. I'm playing great football. Everything's humming along. I'm not so sure I'd want it. Now, you can make the same argument for the Chiefs, obviously, in a week where they're playing their best. Is this a good time to be taking a week off? I would just argue for they now have an injury to Pacheco, so that's not the worst. They're waiting for their starting left tackle to return to the team. That doesn't seem like the worst kind of time. And it's better than having it earlier in the year. No, this is going to be the most interesting stretch of the season, other than maybe the final couple games if the division's coming down to it. Which we don't know yet, obviously.
Yeah, we know they wrap up against the Raiders, which that themselves will not be the issue, but that might be a game you have to win the West. It might be a game you have to win if you're actually still alive in the number 1 seed conversation. That stuff will sort itself out. But the path for the 1 seed, it's winning against Buffalo, it's splitting with Denver at some point this season, whether it's the first one or later. It is beating the Colts, it's winning the rematch against the Chargers. That is how you stay alive in the number 1 seed conversation. The division, I think it's just that you put a lot of pressure on yourself. If you were to lose to Denver in the second game of this 3-game stretch, you start to really put yourself in a bad spot divisionally and force it to where then the Christmas Day game becomes a must-win if you're still in it even at that point in time. So
you'd be 2 full games behind Denver?
Let's say both Denver and Kansas City win this week. Let's say Kansas City gets to 6-3. Denver would get to...
They take the Titans on or somebody, don't they?
Yeah, Denver would get their 7th win of the season, correct?
Yes.
Or am I right on that, or am I off?
They're 6-2 right now.
Yeah, so they get their 7th. And then you go into that game in Kansas City, all of a sudden Denver would pick up win 8. You'd be stuck at 6. Like you'd be in a little bit of trouble there chasing the Broncos.
Like, and we've talked about Indianapolis's schedule and New England's, which is really easy. Indy's is actually based on strength of schedule. It's closer to the top end of the league, depending on. Now I'll say the teams that are above 500 on their schedule aren't as difficult. Like 2 of them are against the Jags. Okay, fine. That is a winning team, but it's not all things are created equal in the schedule department. They're at Houston today versus Las Vegas. The problem with the timing of that Denver Broncos game is by the time this is why, in a weird way, it's like they all are not must wins, but for the things you have in play, the least important one is probably the Colts because you could just accept, maybe we were never getting the 1 seed anyway, right? You could just chalk it up to they got more wins. They were going to get more wins. That one I honestly think is the least important. The Bills won because you want to stay ahead of them in the standings in case you ever have a 2 versus 3 in the playoffs and you don't want to go to Orchard Park. Great. That one matters more. And Denver, obviously, so you're still a division winner at the end of this thing does matter because they could be, as you pointed out, at 8 wins before you face them. The maximum you can be at is 6. You win the game this week and you face them on, you're 2 wins behind in the column before you even face them. Like that Denver one's probably the most important of the 3.
If you're saying the most consequential, I would agree. I would agree with that. Buffalo and Denver would be more of that. Although, I would make the same, in a weird way, I would say Buffalo and Indy, to me, it would be while we have the rivalry with Buffalo, I would argue those both would then be the same, Buffalo and Indy. Because if the Buffalo Bills are battling for their division.
I guess if I had to choose which one I'd have to face at home more, though,
100%.
I'd rather go to Indianapolis.
Without seeing the Colts. You know my feeling. I'm skeptical still on Indy. But if the Colts came into Arrowhead and beat up on the Chiefs, I think I would have to have a different perspective, in what the Colts are capable of doing in this year, in this season, I should say. So it's going to be a hell of a 3-game stretch for Kansas City. But it's so much of a different vibe if you can go and win at Buffalo and head into the bye at 6-3, because then if they're 6-3 and they're going to a bye week, and then I tell you it's a 2-game stretch and it's at Denver and it's home to Indy, and you're already at 6-3, you feel way better about the situation if they go to Orchard Park and beat Josh Allen on Sunday. We'll talk plenty more about the Bills in particular with Ross Tucker in about 20 minutes. And also later on in the week, we'll have our friends up from Buffalo, Mike Shope from our sister station, join us on the show as we've had him join us, I think, twice a year, 3 times a year for the last 5 years. Every year we've been doing the show. That's how often these teams play. Now, the great news and the biggest development during the last, month or so for the Kansas City Chiefs has been that Andy Reid discovered something. And I think he actually is enjoying the hell out of it, and I'm not worried about this suddenly going away. And that is that Andy Reid is more aggressive than ever on 4th downs. I know we had some fun playing the audio clip a month ago where he's like, "Oh no, we always go for 4th down." And we were like, "No, you don't." But they are this year. And that's all that matters. I don't care how long it took to figure this out. Patrick Mahomes has been the quarterback for a while. But Andy Reid has discovered, you know what? This whole thing where we go for 4th downs with the best quarterback in football, I essentially have a cheat code. It basically is what the Chiefs have.
What took him so long? We've been saying this for years.
It's a beautiful thing, though. It really is.
I'm not going to take it for granted. I'm just going to enjoy it.
It is awesome to see. It really is a cheat code, though. It's kind of, we would say about the Lions and how, a team that has that kind of success on 4th down, or, the Eagles, they got a cheat code with the tush push. I bring up the tush push only because the Chiefs have converted 10 4th downs so far this year through 8 games. That is the most by any team since 2000. And if you're wondering, the other teams that had right around the same amount, as in 9 through 8, that'd be the Eagles last year. And that would be the Eagles in 2022. And again, what do the Eagles do and why it makes sense if I told you that? They have the tush push. The Chiefs are doing this without doing QB sneak. That's
at all. Like it doesn't exist in their offense.
It makes it even more impressive. But they're doing it. They have the best quarterback in football. You got all these weapons now, full arsenal of Rice and Worthy and obviously Brown to go with Kelsey and everything that you got. Short yardage back in Kareem Hunt, who's been awesome here. And we're going to talk about him more next hour. This is a cheat code, and they finally have recognized it.
So, rather than complain about how long it took to get there, I'm actually going to appreciate it for a minute, because there was a moment in this last game in which I finally was willing, Gold, to say, oh no, they're actually going to do this all year. Because you remember earlier in the year, we talked about this with Kansas City, and we're like, well, they only do it against teams they respect. And then they do it against the Jags, and they'd go conservative, and they'd kick field goals, or they'd face the Raiders. and they'd go conservative, and you're like, I'm not, like not even them. They were a little more aggressive there, where you're like, they're only going to do it against the teams they think they got to score against, like the Ravens or the Eagles. They're not going to do it against bad NFL teams. So we're not going to worry about it. And they're just going to do it the same rate they did before. This moment in this last game, 4th and 3 from the 3-yard line. I have covered the Chiefs as a radio professional for 10 straight years. I genuinely, other than in a moment in which they had to score a touchdown in the 4th quarter or overtime or in a playoff game, have genuinely I don't think Andy has ever gone for it in that situation. He didn't have to. He could have just taken the lead. It was by Andy standards, somewhat unnecessary 4th and 3 go for the touchdown moment. And he did it. And it brought me great joy, Gold, because that is a moment in which I do think the aggressiveness, especially with your defense, is worth it. Because that's the other part. The thing we said for years is he didn't go for it because, he just thought his defense is good, so he'll just kick the field goal and they'll keep him off the board. No. For the longest time, we said it's the opposite. Your defense is great. Trust them that even if you go for 4th and don't get it, they'll get the stop. So I do think it's here to stay. And I think the fact that they are this successful, they are the most successful offensive 4th down team on offense and defense.
Yeah,
they're good at stopping it and getting it.
Only giving up 20% of 4th down conversions on this season, which is the best in the NFL. And then on the flip side, as we said, you've got 10 successful 4th down conversions on offense, which is the most anybody's had in at least 25 years.
Well, and that also ends up translating to these easier wins where Chiefs fans can take a deep breath and be like, you know what, I'm going to prop the feet up and I'm going to relax a little bit and enjoy this one.
Yeah, it's almost double dipping because you can you can utilize it on offense at the success rate they have, and then your opponents are doing, and their opponents are not getting it. You're stealing possessions at this, and that is why we've seen in particular the last 3 weeks or so the wide margin of victory.
Yes.
The Lions, who were the epitome of going for 4th down over the last couple of years, they struggled again on 4th down against Kansas City that game. And then, the Raiders, we saw that played out. And then this past week, Washington, they had the 2 turnovers and they went for 4th down on both of those possessions after, right? And they didn't get them.
I got to say, I think that this is the Jags game taught him a lesson. I think before that game, they were not doing it this way. They were going for it on 4th down against teams that they respected at a slightly higher rate than normal. They had amped up the aggressiveness, but they were still kicking field goals in spots I'd go for it, punting in spots I might go for it. They weren't showing this level. They were up 14-0. They had a 4th down they could have gone for. Up 14 against the Jags. Did not. They eventually let that lead squander away. The aggressiveness kind of got away, and they didn't. And they haven't for years. Buried a team when they could absolutely bury them. And it seems like either confidence-wise, because Kareem Hunt's the best short yardage back in the NFL, whatever it is, they have decided they have the personnel and the tools to do it, and they're doing it at a higher rate than I've ever seen under Andy Reid.
A couple things from the text line, 913-586-7965. Number one from the 913 says, hey, the whole league is going for it on 4th down. Now, Andy is just keeping up with the league. I hear you. I hear you, but I just referenced he's doing it at a better rate than anybody in the league, though. So even if you believe that, and it's true, let's say, that, hey, he's just doing it to keep up with the Joneses, he's outpacing everybody. That's the whole point, is that they have 10 4th down conversions. Nobody has had more through this part of the season in 25 years. So I don't think this is he's in the wash with everybody else. No, they're doing it at a better rate than everybody else in the league. The other part that you mentioned, Kareem Hunt and the short yardage, how much of this also is still going back to the kicking game? That while publicly they're never going to say they're worried about Harrison Butker. He is, thank goodness, for the last 2 weeks we haven't had to talk about him because he hasn't either made a mistake, and they also have been scoring touchdowns on drives, and they haven't really been attempting field goals. But that's because they haven't settled for the 38-yard field goal because they've gone for these 4th downs. I think it's a combination of everything. It's trust in your defense. Mahomes is clicking. The offense is rolling. Kareem Hunt is doing his thing. All of it coming together, and maybe a little bit of, hey, let's let Butker figure this mental stuff out because Dave Tobe said it was a mental thing more than a physical thing. So this has all led to us, if you're Andy, you're saying being more aggressive.
We're going to put some teams away. I think they also, the record has a factor here, Gold, and a million other things. They know they got to put teams away and not let them back in the game. They let the Jags back in the game. The only loss they've suffered in the last 6 games, they've won 5 of 6, was a game they let a team back in, partially because of a lack of aggressiveness. Why do that? And again, some of this is they're doing it they were still aggressive in this game. Even though they had a lead, they were comfortable, they were staying aggressive, all this other stuff. They were still on a backup left tackle and a backup right guard. it didn't even like the offensive line didn't deter them. I think some of it's weapons. They know they're deep and versatile and a million other things, and that makes them very, very difficult. But like they've been the most successful team. They haven't gotten every single one. We've seen them go for it and fail, and then have to get a defensive stop, and it hasn't burned them. Maybe it just took a little bit of time. And this is the thing, like you're saying, Andy's keeping up with the league. I don't disagree, but like at the same time, he wasn't before.
Right now,
I've covered them we talked about this for 10 years. He's not been trying to keep up with the league. He's been one of the lowest fourth down attempt teams in the league every year for a decade.
It feels like this is it's not the rest of the league messed up. It's Andy figured out another way that he can achieve to be the best coach, because we already agree, like, Andy is the best coach in the NFL. Yeah. Now that he's going for it on fourth down, he's able to utilize his ability as a head coach to not only attempt more, but also convert more, where now the league is probably like, oh crap, this team is not only great because of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, but now they're going for it. They're recognizing they should go for it more like we are, and they're converting at a better clip. This is what causes people, I think, to be really worried about this team come January and February, especially, with the clip that they're converting these at.
So they have the 10 conversions, as we said. That's the most in 25 years. They have the third best conversion percentage in the NFL. There's a tie for first. New England and Indy, both are converting at an 83.3 clip. The Chiefs are converting at 82.35. Cincinnati, 80%. They're the fourth best there. And then Philly.
Now they got to go for it all the time.
And then Philly with the tush push, they're actually only converting at a 78% clip. Now, as far as how many fourth downs per game teams are going for it, the Jets, because they're down 2.4, along with Cleveland and Carolina.
Those are the worst teams in the league.
But then Jacksonville and Atlanta 2.1, Kansas City 2.1, the Giants 2.1.
And Kansas City, again, has blown out 4 of their last 5 opponents, 5 out of 6 if you want to give them the Giants one, which was a 13-point win and not particularly close in the fourth quarter. So depends on if you want to give them that one or not. And they're still going for it at a higher rate than 2/3 of the league. Again, we looked this up maybe week 2 or 3. Historically, because Andy tried to say, we're always this aggressive, and we pulled it up, and we talked about it on the show, and I pointed out that Andy in fourth down attempts was, on average, 24th in the NFL during the last 5 years. So just statistically not accurate. He is now not operating that way. I think some of it goes back to the same thing. I think it's because there's teams ahead of him in the division Gold. I think there's because there's teams ahead of him and because he trusts the offense. I think it's like a combination of everything. I got Kareem Hunt. We're behind in the records. We're trying to put some teams away. We love how many weapons we have. I think it's a combination that's creating a perfect storm of going for it. I don't care. They're going for it, and it's working.
Coming up in 10 minutes, Ross Tucker, our Odyssey NFL insider, going to join us. We'll ask him about this effectiveness on fourth down from Kansas City. We'll talk Chiefs-Bills with him in just a little bit. Yesterday, some news developed, a name that we had talked about a few times. Chiefs fans were keeping an eye on. He was cut by Kansas City, surprisingly, during the end of preseason. That was Mike Pennell. Remember, he signed to the Bengals practice squad. Then he was elevated, played some games with them. I think he was a little banged up or whatever as well there. Jordan Schultz and I think Fesco actually also had this yesterday, that the Chiefs today are bringing in Mike Pennell because he was cut by the Bengals yesterday. It seems like one of those where like both sides just agreed to let me go kind of thing.
Yeah.
Injury settlement
this
type of thing.
This happens all the time in the NFL.
He was granted his release, and now the expectation is, barring something shocking today when he visits, he's going to re-sign with Kansas City. No, I'm not acting like they just re-signed Warren Sapp, okay? However,
he is a fan favorite.
He's a fan favorite, and he's somebody that Chris Jones vocally 2 weeks ago expressed his desire to get his guy back.
We talked about it.
And maybe he plays 7 snaps a game, but he can be effective in those 7 snaps. He also doesn't hurt the vibes in the locker room kind of thing as well. I like this as long as it doesn't make them not go and still address the defensive line Tuesday.
I don't think that that's going to be the case. But you know what this is? I still think they'll try, Gold. This is a safety net. Let's say a deal doesn't come to fruition. Sometimes that occurs. We've talked about this with the Royals when they try to sign an off-season outfielder or whatever. Sometimes the best laid plans don't work out, although New England was busy as hell yesterday, seemingly shipping off all kinds of players out of their roster, so they must be making room for more players. But this is a perfect fit. He is a run-stopping defensive tackle. That's what they lost in Omar Norman-Lott. And they've been one of the better rushing defensive team in the league, but also as pointed out by the text line earlier. Do you know what backs are getting ready to face? They're getting ready to face, I believe, the number 1, 2, 3, and 4 rushers in the, or number 1, 2, 3, and 4 rushers in the NFL.
Yeah, Taylor and Cook
over the next 4 weeks of their schedule, because Javonte Williams is up at the top 2. Here, let me look it up. Because I'm pretty sure it's the guys who are leading the NFL in rushing yards. So if you're telling me, even though they've been a very good rushing team, yeah, Jonathan Taylor, number 1, 850 yards. James Cook, 753. Number 2, J.K. Dobbins for Denver. Number 3 in the NFL at 634. And Javonte Williams, number 4 at 633. They're legitimately getting ready to face the number 1, 2, 3, and 4 rushers in the NFL over the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, good timing to get
5 weeks, but 4 games.
Good timing to get a run stuffer back on the team and Mike Pennell. I'm assuming that'll become official later today, if not tomorrow, as the Chiefs get set to take on the Bills. Someone said the ramen in Cincinnati must not have been up to par. Thank you for that callback, Texter. If you listen to our interview with him from training camp a year ago, I think it was.
Yeah.
We were talking to him. He's a big foodie. He goes back to he said he
got his KC ramen and then our Aussie friend brother.
Yeah, and I believe Mike Pennell, did he say he goes to Tokyo like every summer, or goes to Japan like every summer to go and enjoy some of the ramen as well? So yeah, maybe the ramen wasn't up to par in Cincy. He'll be able to get that taken care of. That was part of the selling point, I'm sure, to get him back to Kansas City. All right, up next, let's talk about the Chiefs and the Bills a little bit more. Also, what's happening in Indianapolis with our Odyssey NFL insider, Ross Tucker, next.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Vinny Pasquantino, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a little more.
I'm worth a lot more.
I completely agree. You are worth more, and your car's worth more. And we want to pay more at GiveMeTheVin.com for good cars, because they are worth more, and so are you. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100. For top price, trust, and ease of transaction, GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
More than a few of our patients have talked to me about their first time, but it's not the first time you're probably thinking about. It's the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined the moment. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're over 50, it's likely that you've had that first time yourself. But the good news is that if you're like most men, that first time can be the last time that ED impacts your sex life. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men using protocols with success rates well over 90%. And those treatments have, in most cases, made sex great again for both them and their partners. You could even find that you're performing like you haven't in years. So if ED has been affecting your intimacy, it's time to make the last time that happens the last time that happens. For just $99, you'll receive blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
The NBA is back. It's NBA tip-off week, and FanDuel is your home for live betting. So even if you miss tip-off or you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything, from who's going to score next to a fourth-quarter comeback. You can even combine your bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at an even bigger payout, however you want to play. Now is the perfect time to join. FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 wager wins. So all you need to do is visit FanDuel.com. Use my promo code KFNZ to sign up today. Fall is here, so celebrate the return of basketball season with our friends over at FanDuel. Play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issue. Non-withdrawal bonus bet expires 7 days on the street. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem. Get out with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
Yellowstone. The epic ranching drama is now a Kansas Lottery scratch ticket and your ticket to experiences you can't get anywhere else. Top prize of $25,000, plus second chance drawings that let you live the show. Attend a premiere or visit the set, but know what you're getting into. Just kidding. This is a game, not the show. Play Yellowstone. See KSLottery.com for details.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, hims.com/joy.
Deadlines move fast. So should your takeoffs. With Lowe's Blueprint Takeoff, you can turn blueprints into competitive quotes. Bring us your plans, and we'll generate itemized material lists to make quoting faster and easier. And when you're ready, we'll deliver everything you need straight to the job site. Visit the Pro Desk today to get started. Lowe's, we help, you save.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than Saquon Barkley, the NFL's reigning leading rusher. I'm also the NFL's leading husher. Shh, hush up back there. Wow, I might have just set the hushing record. Well, almost. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Chiefs coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Renner Garage Door has proudly served our community for decades. The best styles, technology, and family values. That's Renner. Get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Back here on Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Some news in the NFL during the break. According to Ian Rappaport, and of course multiple people now at this point in time, Aiden Hutchinson, the very talented defensive lineman for the Detroit Lions, agreeing to a 4-year deal worth $180 million, $141 guaranteed. We're going to talk more about that in the 11 o'clock hour because we know George Karlaftis got a deal in the offseason. By no means am I saying they are the same type of player, but we'll take a look at the difference in some of the numbers and also right now, at least, where some of the pacing stats are for both of them. But let's welcome in our Odyssey NFL insider, Ross Tucker. Insider Calls brought to you by Nationwide. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side. I guess I will start with that news. I mean, you've had a chance, I'm sure, to call some games involving Aiden Hutchinson. This was a deal that I thought at one point they were hoping to get done before the season, but they get it done here before the calendar turns to November.
Yeah, and I can't believe you're saying Karlaftis is better than.
We're just saying that some of the stats this year are comparable.
I love that you said that because I joked exactly about that with Cody during the break. I said we're going to have this discussion later, and I'm going to say that, and immediately someone's going to text into the show and say, "So you're saying he's better than Aiden Hutchinson?" So thank you for giving me a preview of the text line.
You know, first of all, I'm a huge Karlaftis guy. And they actually do have some similarities in the sense that I think that they are very good athletes. I don't think that they are elite athletes. I don't think they are, Myles Garrett or a Micah Parsons in terms of get off and ability to bend. What I love about those guys is they're so good with their hands. They rush with a lot of power and just absolutely relentless. And so I think that's something that anybody can appreciate. And by the way, so is Micah Parsons and Myles Garrett. Those guys are nonstop too. But it really jumps out when you watch, even like Monday night, the one play in the run game where Karlaftis slanted inside and then he redirected to be able to chase down a run to the outside. I've always appreciated that game. I think I probably told you guys before, I called Karlaftis' game in the U.S. Army Bowl when he was still in high school and had a chance to talk to him then. So it's kind of cool just to, meet a kid in high school and now he's in whatever he is in the NFL and playing at a high level. I thought that was, refresh my memory, he was a pretty late first-round pick, right?
Yeah, he was in the 30s, 31, or maybe it was like in the high 20s or low 20s because they traded up. It was that same year as that Trent McDuffie deal. 28.
Excellent pick by Veach at that spot. To get a guy like him at that spot, that is awesome. Hutchinson, after that serious injury last year, I didn't think it made sense to do the deal before the season, really for either party, but he's come out and been awesome. And so because of that, I think that they wanted to reward him now, realizing it's probably only just going to go up.
You had mentioned Myles Garrett. Since you're a former player, I'll ask you real quick because it's interesting to talk about on the show. He's got the 5 sacks on Sunday. He was a dominant player. His team is miserable. They got blown out anyway. I find myself not feeling bad for Myles Garrett at all. He didn't have to sign with the Browns. He knew what he was getting in for. That's been the worst franchise in football the last 30 years. I don't feel bad for great players being on bad teams if they made the choice.
Well, that's exactly right, because he did make the choice multiple times. So, yes, he was at one point, picked by them number 1 overall, but he signed multiple contracts there. The other thing is, as bad as the Browns are now, okay, they did win a playoff game in 2020, and they were in the playoffs 2 years ago.
That's crazy.
So it's not like, there have been other organizations that have been worse than that or down worse. He's made the playoffs 2 out of the last 5 years. That, cry me a river. I played with Takeo Spikes, one of the best players I ever played with. Takeo played 15 years, never made the playoffs one time.
Oh.
And he ended up playing on some good teams. Like, he was on the Eagles the one year they didn't make the playoffs. He was on with us in Buffalo 2004, which was supposedly the one of the best teams to never make the playoffs according to the statistics. So, I have no sympathy whatsoever for Myles Garrett. However, I will say I am incredibly impressed by guys like him. Some of the guys that I think are most impressive in the NFL would be like a Myles Garrett, a Max Crosby, Jeffrey Simmons. These guys that are on clearly bad teams that are not going anywhere and haven't for a few years. And they are double teamed often, and yet they lace it up every single week and bring it. I got a lot of respect for those guys.
We're talking to Ross Tucker, our Odyssey NFL insider here on 96.5 The Fan. For multiple weeks now, we've been asking you about this offense who clearly looks like they're back. And the other element of it now is this 4th down aggressiveness that we really haven't seen from Andy Reid before, even with Patrick Mahomes. We were just discussing it to start our show today, that Andy Reid has kind of figured out that he has a cheat code, which is make a defense stop you 4 times when you have Patrick Mahomes and all these weapons. The Chiefs have converted 10 4th downs so far this year, which is the most through 8 games since at least 2000.
I guess the one question would be to Andy, what took you so long?
I know. We've been asking for years, but you know what? I'm just going to be happy about it.
Yeah, no, the reality is, though, there's a lot of underlying statistics and metrics that will tell you that it is advantageous to go for it in a lot of these 4th down situations. What's interesting is that those numbers are primarily based upon, the average across the league. Well, when you have Mahomes and Travis Kelce, but especially Mahomes, you are way above the average. So they should actually be way more likely to go for it on those downs, on those situations, because their percentage will clearly be higher than the other teams that they're going against.
When you look at, like, I guess, Travis, you mentioned his season. He has statistically been good as any tight end in the league. You know, Tyler Warren's been talked about everywhere. He has as many yards, as many touchdowns, as many catches as a guy like that. Has his season nationally been a little undersold, considering the fact that he's doing it at his age?
I think it probably has. I mean, and like we've been saying for a couple years now, Travis Kelce just doesn't get enough attention. You know, he just doesn't get enough.
Yeah. That's only getting worse, you know.
He's really gone under the radar these last couple of years. I forgot he played for the Chiefs. No, I mean, it is kind of funny that maybe some of the other stuff has overshadowed what he's doing. I'll tell you this much. I don't know if you guys have like the GPS stats or whatever, and maybe you can pull them up. I thought when they kept him in for pass pro, and then he leaked out and was a late check down for Patrick on the one, I thought he was looking pretty darn fast running down the sideline. I was like, man, I mean, they had told me, I would say well-placed sources had told me that, Travis was running as fast as he had in a while, and that, the GPS numbers backed that up. And, man, that was clearly the case I thought on that one catch against the Commanders. I mean, I don't know if he's lost weight or if he just the training, but he looked faster to me than he has in a while.
100% with you. Yeah, that was, I think at one point in the offseason, there was a report he had lost like 20-something pounds, and he talked about it, and he's like, well, not quite 20 pounds, but he definitely lost some weight in the offseason, and it's obviously paying off for him so far in 2025. Ross, the Chiefs get the Bills again. We've had you on for years. We've been doing this whole thing for years now with Chiefs-Bills like seemingly twice a year, and this go-around, I wonder if you've talked to anybody in Buffalo yet about this game, and we're going to have some guests on later in the week, where the Bills have won these regular season matchups at a decent clip, but we all know they haven't won in the postseason. We know it's Super Bowl or bust for them. It's Super Bowl or bust in Kansas City. I wonder, have Bills fans, you think, at this point in time, recognize that, like, this game on Sunday, it matters for divisional and one seed, but they have to know at this point, like, beat the Chiefs on Sunday, it really doesn't mean anything.
Well, you are in luck, because I go on in Buffalo every Tuesday afternoon. So I already know what they think. Number one, there's some consternation right now, because even though the Bills beat the Panthers by a lot, they haven't really looked as good in the passing game or maybe on defense over the last month or so. And now they lost their best defensive lineman, Ed Oliver, likely for the season. So there's some consternation there. And then you add to that the Chiefs' offense looking better than it has in a really long time. And now you've got a concerned fan base. It's funny, because you're either a glass half full or glass half empty person. And so, if the Bills beat the Chiefs, you can look at it and say, love it. We needed to prove that. All those things. If you lose, certainly there's going to be Bills fans, the positive ones, that'll say, hey, that just gives us a better chance to actually beat them in the playoffs, which I don't know if that's true or not, but it does feel, I know you guys have the numbers. I know the Bills have never beaten the Chiefs in the playoffs. My recollection is that the Chiefs have only beaten the Bills one time in the regular season.
Correct.
I might be wrong. So I don't know. I kind of almost to the point now where I feel like, I know somebody's recording these segments somewhere, and we should just replay it every year, WGR in Buffalo, 5 p.m. on Tuesday of Chiefs Week, and 11:30 a.m. Eastern, 10:30 Central on Wednesday of Bills Week in Kansas City, because the conversation is seemingly very, very similar. And I feel like that's rare in the NFL to have this long of an extended rivalry, extended series. You can probably count them on one hand. What other, on some level, it takes me back to like Steve Young, Troy Aikman, but were they playing each other in the regular season every year? certainly Brady and Manning when I was playing in the 2000s. That one is the most similar, but feels like these guys, from a pure number of games and time situation, might end up being the longest.
It's starting to feel more like an NBA one, Ross. It's more like Magic and Bird, like where we just see them up against each other so often that you can't ignore the fact. And they do seemingly both play big-time games against each other. That's the part that always stands out against me. You usually get their best. On the Bills' defensive end, I do want to ask, they were kind of mediocre anyway. How much worse are they without Ed Oliver in your mind?
Well, he's by far their best D tackle. Now, they did get a couple guys off suspension, Ogunjobi and Michael Hoyt, and Hoyt was all over the place on Sunday. I mean, he had a sack and a half. He looked awesome. So maybe he can provide the spark that they need. I think they're holding out hope that Oliver can play in the playoffs. It's interesting. I'm with you on Bird and Magic. I think it's more of the Brady Manning thing.
Sure.
Because it's been so one-sided in the postseason. And, finally, Peyton Manning in 2006, was able to break through. And I feel like, I thought maybe that was the case with Josh Allen and the Bills last year. It didn't happen. Maybe this year will be the case.
Speaking of other quarterbacks in the league, what do you make of, let's take the team out of it for a minute. When you watch Daniel Jones play, what do you make about his play individually? Chiefs got him in a couple of weeks. We'll talk to you more about them then, but we kept waiting for the shoe to drop. I'm done there. I believe in the Colts. I think they're a very good team, but specifically his play, what is Daniel Jones doing so well?
Well, he's really just operating the offense. You know what he reminds me of, and they remind me of? He reminds me a lot right now of Jared Goff and the Lions a couple years ago. Remember, the first year for Dan Campbell and Jared Goff, it really wasn't that great. And then the second year, they got off to like a slow start, and all of a sudden, it's like, holy cow, the Lions, they can't really be this good, right? And you kept saying that. Next thing you know, they're just that good, and they're in, the NFC Championship game against the Niners, a couple years ago. That's what the Colts feel like to me. People aren't going to really buy in until they play some tougher opponents and, see if they have postseason success. But Jones is playing like Goff, and kind of like Goff. They probably have the best O-line in the league. They definitely this year have the best running back in the league. They are really operating on all cylinders right now, and they have by far the best point differential in the NFL. Interestingly, the Chiefs with 3 losses are second.
Yeah. Some of the numbers around the Chiefs are kind of staggering to see. There's some that are expected, and then there's some other ones that I think surprised quite a few people looking at based off their record and where they're at. Now, where are you headed this week? Are you going to Miami tomorrow or what?
Interestingly, no. I actually this week have a CBS doubleheader, which I've never done before. Saturday, I've got Army at Air Force at noon Eastern, 11 o'clock for you guys. Actually, 10 o'clock Mountain Time, that's going to be the earliest the game has started in college football.
Yeah.
So 10 o'clock out in Colorado Springs, and I love those games for all the reasons everybody should love those games. And then I think there's one flight from Denver to Nashville. I'll be on it because I've got your LA Chargers against the Titans on Sunday. So it actually will be back-to-back weeks where I'm seeing the Chargers, who – they've done some impressive things. I mean, obviously they beat the Chiefs in the opener. It's unfortunate how many injuries they've suffered, and I think they're in the same boat as every other year where people won't really believe they'll win a playoff game until they win a playoff game.
Right.
But, Herbert is he's like – I think you could argue Herbert and Josh Allen are like the two quarterbacks that are most built in a lab. I don't know if you guys have seen Herbert up close. He's like 6'6", 235. He's legitimately fast, runs a 4.6. He's got a great arm. I mean, he's all of the things that you could put into a computer program, and then he's going to have to show it in the playoffs that he's got the ability to elevate a team there. Although I would also say I'm not sure he's had necessarily, great teams around him in those games. And I don't know if he does it this year either.
I feel like Gadsden's been the biggest surprise for me on the Chargers end. I was like, they had him on the bench for 3 weeks and then just decided or realized he was a really good player?
Well, I mean, he's a rookie, 5th-round pick. And I think, watching him, Cody, like preparing for this game, boy, he struggles as a blocker. Not only physically, but it looks to me like he's making a mental error or two at least every game. So he probably did that in training camp and the preseason. They probably were real hesitant to put him out there. But then he's just such a good route runner and such a mismatch at that position that they just kind of had to. And, they had some injuries or whatever. And now it's like, oh, man, we got to use him out there. And they can't only have him out there to throw it to him. So he's got to be out there for some runs. But I think that's why – I think he's like 235 pounds. I think that's why he didn't go to the 5th round and probably why he didn't play the first couple weeks.
Well, safe travels to Colorado Springs and then Nashville, man. We'll talk to you next week.
Sounds great. Can't wait to break down this game next week. Should be awesome.
Absolutely. There you go. Ross Tucker, our Odyssey NFL insider. He joins us each and every Wednesday. Insider Calls brought to you by Nationwide. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side. Good stuff, as always, from Ross Tucker. Coming up in about 10 minutes, we will talk about Jalen Moore, how he looked early the other night, how he finished the game, and a couple more details from one national reporter on the Josh Simmons situation. But it is that time of the week where we check in on some college football away from the locals. We already discussed them on Monday with it being game day and everything. Right. But what do we got?
All right, so there's two things I want to discuss in this little college football tidbit of the show.
Okay.
One of which is, this is that slate that I don't know if you guys remember before when the preseason rankings came out, your favorite thing, Alex Gold. We looked to this weekend as the big time slate. Don't bother me. I am locked in. It was number 2 Penn State, Ohio State number 3, top 15 matchup Miami SMU, Arizona State Iowa State, SC Ole Miss, K-State Texas Tech, like all of it. Georgia Florida,
horribly.
Georgia Florida. All these matchups are ranked. There are like 7 or 8 top 25 matchups. Instead, we have this week 2 ranked versus ranked matchups, and those are Cincinnati and Utah. Everybody thought that one was going to be the case.
Yeah, can't wait. Barn burner.
Massive TV ratings.
You gotta love college football to watch Cincinnati and Utah.
There's actually
Cincinnati's good, but go ahead.
There's 3. I apologize. Oklahoma, Tennessee, and then Vandy and Texas. Who Texas is hanging on to being a top 25 team. But I think this goes to show, and it's not great for college football because it would have been more epic if we had all those ranked unranked matchups. But I think it shows that college football and just college sports in general are just some of the most unpredictable sports that we have. There's unpredictability everywhere in sports, but nobody could predict that Cincinnati would be a top 20 team, that Florida would not be ranked, that some of these that Penn State would have fired James Franklin by this point. It makes college sports kind of epic in a way, and I think the slate isn't as good, but we can still appreciate college sports for just being kind of unpredictable and crazy, and that's what makes it somewhat fun to watch in the same breath.
It has been a lot more of that this year. There's no doubt about it. No, I like parity in any given league. I will say, if Cincinnati gets past Utah, I think they might win the Big 12.
The only question,
I mean,
it's understandable.
Kind of feels like they're going to win the Big 12, maybe, which is certainly not what they were projected to be.
Texas Tech was the front runner. They've dealt with some injuries now, obviously, and the question to me is now: is it Cincinnati or is it BYU coming out of the Big 12?
They face each other in November.
I think that those two might be currently the best teams. Texas Tech, I just think the injuries have finally got them a little bit.
Their starting quarterback's supposed to be back, Morton, but because it was the backup quarterback tore his ACL, he's done. The starter was already out, but he's supposed to be back. Obviously, with Morton, they're amazing. So if he can stay healthy, maybe Tech hangs in there. But it seems like it's not a 3-horse race necessarily because there's still a lot of time left. But those 3 certainly are there. The other thing that I wanted to discuss a little bit was celebrating the little schools a little bit. The American Conference. If you're a college football crazy person like Bink and I, and you love college football, the American Conference is the best group of 6 conference, hands down. USF, Memphis, Tulane, all the bigger names. Navy's the undefeated team out of the group that could make the college football playoff. And, thinking about Navy being in, not that they could win a game, but stylistically, the option, the way that they do things. The American's the best conference, and if you want to find a random conference to watch because you don't want to watch KU or K-State or the game's not on, you want to watch something, then try to pay attention to those American Conference games, with Tulane and USF and Memphis, who just knocked off USF this past weekend. The Memphis Tigers did after they lost. So also Missouri State is 4-3 on the year. They're
That's
off
your
to
squad. Drew
they're
has
off to-
adopted Missouri State.
They come into the FBS, and all of a sudden they're on the potential of winning 6 games. They're not bowl eligible because of that stupid rule that the NCAA has.
Definitely
but
stupid.
Is the Navy
but Ryan
still
Beard's doing a nice job.
Is the Navy still running triple option, or like what's
yeah.
their deal?
Oh yeah.
God, they're sticking with it.
Yeah.
The Navy
I don't know if I want to
midshipmen.
see that in a college football play. It's one throwback. Who cares?
No, I love it. I
The
love
old
the fact
triple
that
option?
I love the fact that they haven't gotten it. That's the whole. I mean, the fact that we get Army Navy at the end of the year. Now, I unfortunately don't think Navy's going to be there at the end for the college football playoff. They still have Notre Dame and Memphis. I mean, if they beat Notre Dame and Memphis, then Navy. I mean, at that point, anything can happen.
Dare I say that Memphis Navy game might be the play-in game because James Madison you have to watch as well for the playoff spot. But,
Can Navy beat Notre Dame though?
But Memphis, but it's the highest ranked
group of 6.
It's the highest
yeah.
ranked conference champ. So that Navy Memphis game could be a play-in game to guarantee a spot in the American title game, which as a result gets you into the playoff. I do think, Cody, Navy would have no shot of beating a team in the playoff. However, I do think for a half they could really scare somebody because if they let's say they play I don't know, Ole Miss in the first round. Ole Miss, they don't play triple option teams. I think for a half Navy could make it interesting.
Does Notre Dame, like, just going back to like one of the big boy schools for a minute, does Notre Dame have the least impressive resume of any of the teams?
Their resume is not good. Their resume is not good.
Stinks.
Their resume is not good. But if they were in a conference, they would be in the college football. They would win the ACC.
But they're not. They chose that path.
I understand.
They win the ACC. They already lost to Miami.
Ironically, though. Yeah, I think they're a better team, especially based on what we've seen the last 3 weeks. They're better than Miami is.
The last 3 weeks, they've beaten Boise State, a team that fell way off, NC State, and I guess at least USC.
Boise State's tied atop their conference. But if Navy and Memphis slip up, Boise State can still sneak in and be the top group of
Who
6.
knows?
No. Absolutely.
Absolutely. James Madison is also the team to watch in the Sun Belt.
You said no? If Navy and Memphis, if Navy were to lose to...
Can you be a
Memphis,
2-loss Boise State team and be in the college football playoff?
if the other teams lose. Remember, it's the highest ranked conference champ. They have to win their
I
conference.
will say the fact that the Mountain West is not as good as the
It hurts
American
them. Yeah.
doesn't help their chances. But yeah, which I think is what makes this race as fun as it is to watch the top teams. I think it's just as fun to watch these smaller teams play because there are 4 or 5 teams in different conferences vying for one single spot.
I think the fact that they could be in the college football playoff does make me more interested in watching them, no doubt.
I do think also having a play-in game, though, can you imagine a 4-team play-in? Let's say Memphis, Navy, James Madison, and Boise State. You have a 4-team play-in, the winner goes to the college football playoff. I think that would be fun during
but then you're asking them to play
weekend.
an extra game on top. You're saying get rid of the conference championship game and do that instead.
If they expand
that'd be sick.
Not if, but when they expand to 16, that should be what they do to find that group of 5 spot. I think it'd be fun.
That would be.
That's exactly what you said you'd hate about college basketball is making all the little guys playing a play-in game tournament before they play.
They already kind of do that though, anyways.
All I'm saying is like
68.
You did say you'd hate that for college basketball. It's different for football, admittedly, but
I think it's different.
All right, up next, guys, let's talk about Jalen Moore, how he looked on Monday Night Football, and some new details from one national reporter about Josh Simmons and the potential timeline. That's next.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Chris Jones. You're listening to Cody and Gold. Weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
You want to sit outside, you want to enjoy dream weather, and you want to enjoy it on your dream deck. I know it's been rainy. I like sitting outside on my screened porch. You could be doing the same thing over at All Weather Decks. The right deck at the right price and a 24-time winner of Angie's List Super Service Award. What matters here is that you have your dream outdoor space because you've been looking at it or you've been idolizing what your neighbors look like. And whether it's a wood deck, composite deck, pergola, fire pit, this time of year is perfect. I promise you, that's my plan after trick-or-treating on Friday. You could be having all of those things available to you and built from a locally owned and operated company who's been working in the Kansas City area for over 15 years. They're Kansas City's premier deck builder, and they could build your backyard retreat. If you're looking for inspiration photos or just photos of the quality of their work, head over to their website at allweatherdecks.net and schedule that free estimate today. That's allweatherdecks.net or give them a call, 913-206-1974.
Things are getting spooky in South Kansas City, but the deals at Robside Ford, they're scary good. Rob Seid is with me. Hey, Rob, what's haunting the lot this month?
No tricks, just treats. From Broncos to Explorers to F-150s and commercial vehicles, we've got the inventory, the selection, and the lowest prices in Kansas City.
And no creepy sales tactics, just non-commissioned staff and real value.
Exactly. And while we're on the scary stuff, Kevin, your brisket from last weekend still haunts me.
Okay, dry rub shouldn't actually mean dry.
But here's the real flavor. KC's only top-rated Ford dealer on Google, 4.8 stars with nearly 3,000 reviews. Voted best car dealership in KC by Kansas City Magazine.
If you want simple, upfront, and easy, Rob Seid Ford is the treat you've been looking for. Visit 135th and State Line and buy right with Rob Seid.
Rob Seid Ford, ROBSIGHT.com. And Kevin, leave the cooking to us this Halloween.
It's football season, and the best place to catch every play is Jefferson's, with great daily specials, an unbeatable happy hour, and plenty of TVs. Every seat is the best seat in the house. Bring your friends, bring your family, and bring your appetite. From legendary wings to juicy burgers to fresh oysters, Jefferson's has your game day covered, with locations in Lenexa, North KC, Lawrence, Topeka, and Joplin. Jefferson's is your ultimate game day destination. Jefferson's, wings, burgers, oysters.
Hey, Zach, are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbors' attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun.
I'm switching.
Me too.
Yes, T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about?
T-Mobile's got home internet. And Donald's got my weed whacker.
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month with auto pay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions.
DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is coming soon to the Show Me State. New Missouri customers can download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. And when we go live, place just a $5 bet to unlock $300 in bonus bets. Starting November 17th, you can create your DraftKings Sportsbook account in Missouri and get ready for launch day on December 1st. DraftKings Sportsbook brings you everything you need to elevate your game day, including live in-game betting, lightning-fast payouts, and endless ways to get in on the action, all right from your phone. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and grab $300 in bonus bets with just a $5 bet when we go live December 1st. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
Steve here with Connolly Plumbing Solutions, your neighborhood plumber. We have the holidays coming up. Good comfort food aplenty. With that in mind, we are running a garbage disposal special of $100 off. We only install incinerators. A good working disposal is key to avoiding drain backups, and no one needs surprises these days. So call 913-768-7676 or visit ConnollyPlumbingSolutions.com.
Hi, I'm Becca, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As an in-house designer, I can't wait for you to see our incredible selection of stylish and stackable rings. If you're shopping for your wedding bands, we have high-quality designs for every style and budget, from romantic to modern. If you're looking to add to a stack, your options are endless. Discover styles with clusters of gemstones, sleek all-metal designs, updated cigar bands, and signet rings perfect for an engraving. Because a friend knows you like options. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro on them. It's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
The 24 monthly bill credits on experience beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off earlier. Cancel. Finance agreement iPhone 17 Pro 256 gigs, $1,099.99 and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data 1H2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Deadlines move fast. So should your takeoffs. With Lowe's Blueprint Takeoff, you can turn blueprints into competitive quotes. Bring us your plans, and we'll generate itemized material lists to make quoting faster and easier. And when you're ready, we'll deliver everything you need straight to the job site. Visit the Pro Desk today to get started. Lowe's, we help, you save.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
The Drive, weekdays starting at 2 on Kansas City's FM sports station. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, and Odyssey Sports Station.
11 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Here in about 10 minutes, we'll get to some news in the NFL today. If you didn't see it, Aiden Hutchinson, the very talented defensive lineman for the Detroit Lions, signing a new 4-year deal. Big-time money. We'll discuss that, and gets us into a conversation about George Karlaftis, his deal he signed in the offseason. And you might be surprised, through the first 8 weeks of the season, some of the numbers between Karlaftis and Aiden Hutchinson. And as I said, I'm not saying Karlaftis is Aiden Hutchinson, but puts the contract in perspective a little bit more. Meanwhile, we know Jalen Moore has been playing left tackle for this football team for multiple weeks. He's going to play left tackle on Sunday.
For the foreseeable future, honestly.
Nobody expects
otherwise noted.
Nobody expects Josh Simmons back before the bye week. The question is how soon after the bye week. I want to start actually with that because it'll help us with the conversation about Jalen Moore as a starter and how long. And that is, when could Josh Simmons even be back with the team? We had Nate Taylor on yesterday. He had some reporting over the weekend suggesting that there's a lot better communication. Maybe. It could be a couple weeks. Then Albert Breer had this late last night. He wrote a piece about a bunch of other stuff. It's just one snippet. I'll read you it. It said, "What I know is that the issue first arose just before the Jags game. Simmons ended up playing in that matchup, then left right before the Lions game. The cited family aspect of his absence is real, and that was a part of the background that teams had to work through when he was coming out of college. Here's the other detail that's important. This is all from Albert Breer. If the Chiefs felt this was going to be an absence of more than a month, they would have placed him on the non-football injury list. So the timeline as they worked with Simmons, and they've been in constant communication with him as of late, has been more week to week than long term. Getting Simmons back, another reason to believe the Chiefs are only going to get better even over the months to come." That's from Albert Breer. Some of that information we already kind of knew.
So some of this is like a cultural thing, perhaps, or maybe?
Well, the sentence that's interesting is the cited family aspect of his absence is real. That was a part of the background that teams had to work through.
Was that another part of why he fell to where he fell? I thought the injury was the main reason. Albert Breer is certainly suggesting that was another thing that teams were culling through in making a determination about where Josh Simmons should be drafted, because the talent's undeniable. We've already seen that. The man can be a starting left tackle, a very good one in the NFL for a long time if he wants to be, and if he continues to develop the way he has so far. Look, the Simmons stuff, between that and what Clark Hunt said on Sunday before the game, I still don't feel like they got a firm return to work date.
No, but they're at least talking every week. Yes. And it sounds like at first that wasn't happening. So they're like, what is going on? We just got to talk to us here, please. And it sounds like that has been corrected over the last 2 weeks.
I will give it grace in the situation in the sense that if he comes back after the bye, this seems to make sense. If he's still absent after the bye, well, then when am I supposed to assume he's returning? I'm sorry, the week-to-week stuff doesn't fly at that point. It would have been 4 full games that he missed. After this one, he'll have missed 4 full games. Had a then bye week, so 5 full weeks. If you can't return by then, well then, the amount of time, and this is the other part, the amount of time he would have missed, and then the amount of time it would take him to ramp up and get back to speed, because he's obviously not practicing. He's probably not in game shape and some of the stuff that you would expect for a guy that would miss 5 or 6 weeks. So the ramp up time, in addition to the weeks he'd miss, Gold, that would just make Jalen Moore the starter the rest of the year. And do I have some concerns over Jalen Moore the starter the rest of the year? Sure, a little. For the first time all season, he showed a crack. Now, it was mostly in the first drive, a little bit in the third drive where he struggled. He wasn't nearly as good as he had been in the previous weeks. Didn't cost him the game. Certainly didn't blow every rep. But he had a couple times where he got beat. And they're going to face Nick Bonito in a couple of weeks. And that's a real challenge. They got some real good edge guys coming to town over the next month and a half. So, like, there's going to be there. And this goes to any backup. This is not Moore related or even a crack on him. I mentioned this to Drew with Jake Browning when he was citing like the 7 games he had played. It is easy to look good in a small sample size as a player who's traditionally a backup. It is hard to look good over the long term if everybody knows your moves, everybody's got tape on you, everybody's seen you a million times. And so, do I have some concern that Jalen Moore will show some warts throughout the season? Yeah, a little bit.
Well, so the opponent they just faced, the Commanders, that was not the defensive front to get your answer if a team could take advantage of, in this case, Mike Caliendo and Jalen Moore playing. Now, we'll find out from Andy a little bit more here at 11:45, guys, about Trey Smith and if he's going to be available on Sunday in Buffalo, or if this back issue is going to really linger and they're going to give him another week and buy another week with the bye week and all that and really get him fully good on the back. And I'm not saying that's the worst idea either, as much as we all want to see him play on Sunday, talking about Trey Smith. But I guess what I'm saying is the Commanders were not the team that was going to take advantage of the potential inefficiencies on your O-line. The Broncos will. The Bills, to a certain extent, although losing at Oliver changes my opinion on that a little bit too.
Yeah,
like I actually feel like whether it's Jalen Moore and Caliendo again, we know it'll be more, but if Caliendo has to play, I don't think the Bills are necessarily a defensive front to take advantage of it either.
And we'll get our first view of that today as practice reports, and Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes will talk at 11:45. We'll probably get our first taste of where Trey Smith is outside of that. Denver leads the league in the NFL, 4.5 sacks a game. They are almost a full sack better.
They got like 30-something, 36, 37 sacks.
They are almost a full sack better than the next closest team, the Rams. And this is where I still think it's interesting. Even if Simmons is back with the team, I don't expect him to start the game against Denver, though I do think he could be a break glass in case of emergency if it was going poorly for Jalen Moore and things were going south. And if you're going to ask yourself, Buffalo, they are currently 5th in the NFL in sacks per game, so you've certainly been pretty good in that category. They just lost their top sack guy, so maybe league average? Maybe that's what they are right now. They got a couple of guys, as Ross mentioned, off suspension, so maybe they're a league average sack team. Maybe after the loss of Ed Oliver, I'd argue they're probably a little bit below that, but at least somewhere in that range. Yeah, it is a serious thing. It's the only thing to watch, genuinely, on offense the next couple of weeks. Because I could say, like, when Pacheco's missing, is that going to have a massive impact on their offensive ability? I don't know. Probably not. But can a left tackle starting to struggle a little bit? Sure, especially if Trey Smith misses any more time.
Coming up in 10 minutes, we will get to the trash of the day, but the news in the NFL of the day centers around the Detroit Lions and reports now from just about every national reporter. Aiden Hutchinson gets a new deal, 4 years, $180 million, reportedly $141 million guaranteed for Hutchinson, who a year ago had that serious knee injury. He wanted a deal maybe in the offseason. They also talked about it and wanted to make sure that he was good to go. He has been very, very good so far in 2025. So Aiden Hutchinson gets his deal, massive money. We were talking about this during the break after Ross Tucker, and it's the fact that, look, Aiden Hutchinson is a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, is probably going to win one at some point in his career.
He's a great player.
And so I am not, with what I'm about to say, I am not saying that George Karlaftis is the same player as Aiden Hutchinson. Okay, so before you guys jump down my throat on what I'm about to say, I am just saying that given the contract that George Karlaftis signed and some pacing stats I'm about to give you, you should feel a hell of a lot better if you were still worried about the numbers attached to the George Karlaftis contract. Once again, Cody, you want to fill us in on the George Karlaftis contract? Because I'll give you some numbers on what he's doing on the field.
He is making, you just mentioned Aiden Hutchinson, who's going to make borderline, pretty close to double the amount in guarantees, more than double the amount. His contract was a 4-year, $88 million extension, $22 million a year, 61.7 totals and guarantees. He will not be a free agent until he is 30 years old in 2031 because he still had a year left remaining on this deal, and they had the 5th-year option. So it's actually like a 6-year deal. But the extension was 4 for 88 for the purposes of the argument. $22 million a year. I just told you Aiden Hutchinson's going to make 46, more than double. He's going to make 140 guaranteed, more than double the amount. So, I'll just tell you, George Karlaftis may not be Aiden Hutchinson, but he's not 50% of Aiden Hutchinson, which means the deal's starting to look good.
Said it at the time. As years go on, the Karlaftis deal is going to, the Karlaftis deal financially is going to look really, really good. And look, George Karlaftis is probably never winning a Defensive Player of the Year. No. Okay? Probably never happening. Aiden Hutchinson probably will. But I'll give Jesse Newell credit from The Athletic on this. He was doing a player A, player B comp blind test yesterday, and it turns out the comp was between, it's great timing on this.
Did he know?
Between Aiden Hutchinson, I don't know, it was great timing. Aiden Hutchinson and George Karlaftis. And Aiden Hutchinson has 6 sacks. Karlaftis has 4.5. Aiden Hutchinson has a 2.4% sack rate. Karlaftis, 2.1. Aiden Hutchinson, 39 QB pressures. Karlaftis, 36. Aiden Hutchinson, 15.5% QB pressure rate. Karlaftis, 16.5% QB pressure rate. Time to get to the quarterback, average time to pressure. Karlaftis, 2.97. Hutch, 2.98. Quick pressures, now we're getting deep here, but quick pressures, 14 for Karlaftis, 12 for Aiden Hutchinson. Numbers are not terribly far off so far this season.
9.5 versus 12.5. So I'll give Aiden Hutchinson.
I like the value I'm getting on the Karlaftis deal. That's all I'm saying.
I think it's fairly obvious that it's already a cheap. I thought it was a cheap deal at the time. I mean, genuinely, he plays an edge spot, and he'll get you 8 to 10 sacks a year. Look, maybe there is a ceiling too. I don't know. Maybe he is a 12 or 13 sack guy one year. I don't think he's just going to take the Max Crosby turn and all of a sudden have these stat lines where you're saying all of a sudden his number goes way and way up. George Karlaftis for the price is about as good as value as you can get. And I'll point out Aiden Hutchinson, who, again, plays the same position and plays very similarly. If you're like, well, has he had some big sack numbers? No. He played 17 games his rookie year, 9.5 sacks. He played in 17 games his second year. He had 11.5 sacks. He only played in 5 games last year and had 7.5 sacks. So he was turning it on and getting ready to be an absolute monster is what it looked like. And he's got 6 sacks this year in 7 games. But all the other periphery stats that we just mentioned point that these two guys are closer than you think. Really, what I view this as, George Karlaftis is probably 80 to 85% of the player Aiden Hutchinson is for 50% of the cost. The simple math on that, Gold, suggests that George Karlaftis, whether you've been happy with his performance or think he gets enough sacks or get frustrated by his play that he doesn't win enough one-on-ones, is at the very least a great value player to have on your roster if that's what Aiden Hutchinson costs.
913-586-7965. And again, I knew this would happen when we had this conversation. Someone says, come on, guys, Aiden Hutchinson isn't playing with a Hall of Fame tackle. He's the one getting double teamed, not benefiting. Again, I'm not saying they're the same player. That was the whole point. The point is, do you like what you're getting based off the value, based on the contract that you have? Do you like what you're getting? And I also think this, so far, pacing year for Karlaftis is more reason why by next Tuesday the Chiefs need to go and trade for another defensive lineman or an edge rusher.
They have to keep drafting them, too. It's not like they're just going to stop here.
You can say, well, this is why they shouldn't have to trade for someone if he gave them this contract. Well, Chris Jones is getting double-teamed, and let's just call it like it is not winning when he's double-teamed. The rare times he gets one-on-one matchups, he's winning at a better rate than anybody in football, but he's not getting one-on-one matchups, nor should he if you're any other you're playing. Yeah. So Chris Jones is having a frustrating season. I'm sure he's frustrated because of the double teams and all that. Karlaftis is getting one-on-one opportunities, yes, and that is helping him have success, sure. Who's the third guy? Yesterday or 2 days ago was Mike Dana. Charles Omenihu, I think, is a possibility, but you and I both believe, and I think most people in Kansas City believe, if you can go find someone, maybe it's a Jalen Phillips type, the dream scenario is a Thibodeau, okay, but can you go and find somebody like that in a trade market to where everybody's getting one-on-one matchups, essentially?
Well, and beyond just the production, obviously this is more like the production comparison to the money thing, but them paying George early, I know they're not in the same ballpark, but them paying George early helps a little bit given this deal for Hutchinson.
Sure.
Kayvon Thibodeau is going to get paid probably even after he gets traded. That's kind of where it's leaning, but the timing of it also lines up along with the production that George Karlaftis is giving.
That's exactly right. That was the thing. I mean, I could probably go back and we could find the audio or at least the rundown from the day Karlaftis got his extension. I think that's the exact conversation we had, which is that, you're going to look and not only how long, will it take for the deal to be extreme value, but how many other linemen are going to get paid between now and the next 2 years. And do you want to jump the line and you get the security if you're George Karlaftis too.
Look, the price difference is, I would argue, in looking at any of the guys in the top 25 paid at defensive end, there are maybe only 2 or 3 who I think are a better value than George Karlaftis, right? Mike, there's 14 guys paid higher than him now that Aiden Hutchinson's been paid. Some of them are just better players. Max Crosby, Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, whatever. They're better players. They also make double the average annual per year of what he makes. Better deal than George Karlaftis? Probably Nick Bonito. He makes $5 million or $3 million more a year than George Karlaftis.
Nick Bonito's.
He's a pretty good value. But I'll just tell you right now, Trey Henderson at $29 million a year or George Karlaftis at 22? I think I'll take the $7 million less a year in the production I'm getting. I'm not saying if the players cost the same.
The guy who's also healthy right now, too.
This is also the argument.
That's the thing.
If the players cost the same, we're having a different argument.
Yes.
The players don't cost the same.
Exactly.
That's not how this works. There are players who are cheaper. There are players who cost less.
The Chiefs are already paying their version in their mind of Aiden Hutchinson, Chris Jones in terms of financially. They already have
his cap number next year is
because that's the difference. What you're saying is, would I rather pay the value or whatever? If Chris Jones was not on this football team and it was just George Karlaftis and a bunch of rookies, well, then I would say, yes, I would rather pay I would rather pay Aiden Hutchinson. But the Chiefs are already paying financially a player like Aiden Hutchinson. And that's why we've already brought it up. It's an offseason conversation. Next year's cap hit for Chris Jones is a big problem.
And even he's making
big problem next year for the Chiefs.
Problem. And even he's making $15 million less per year than Aiden Hutchinson.
Yes.
So, for whatever it's worth, this goes back to, where they pay players sometimes and where the Chiefs have done it a little bit different, Gold, from the bigger perspective is they have been willing to pay guards and tackles, defensive tackles, instead of edge players because they tend to be cheaper by position. They tend to be less than their counterparts. Like Chris Jones has been in his career as effective or more effective than Aiden Hutchinson. Edge guy costs more per year.
Trash of the day.
All right, let's get to the trash of the day. Drew always saves drops. Have you not heard this saying before? I don't even think this is drop worthy. I said before you jump down my throat. He saved it as a drop. That's not even before you jump down my throat. That's not even what's the con? There's no. That's not even a drop.
Context, that's a pretty standard saying. I would say.
This wasn't.
It is a little bit funny on their opposite end.
Yeah, I was surprised that was a drop.
I should have taken out the before part, I guess. Maybe that would have made it more like, what the heck?
All right, anyway, this is a story that fits this show very well, given our history. Has to do with bank robbers, number one. Number two, it turns out the suspected bank robber.
Okay.
I think there's a chance Cody taught this individual at UMKC.
They taught him about.
I don't teach a class in bank
sorry,
robbery.
let me clarify.
I was gonna say
this suspected bank robber, a serial robber. We'll get to the details in a second. It turns out is a graduate of the same university that you teach at.
What year did he graduate?
He's only 20.
It says 2024.
Yeah, he's young enough.
So
where
I
it could
could
be
have
in the
taught him. I was teaching at UMKC. In
I actually think
I don't recognize this name, and I know most of my students.
Yeah, well,
I feel like I'd remember. I think I'd remember their name. I haven't taught that many kids over that many years.
I can't seem to find the link anymore of the article that I swear I read last night. The article said he was, he was in a class with TV performance and stuff. And I don't know if he learned some of his performing skills for this in your class. But anyway.
What? No, come on. Don't put this on me. I didn't teach a kid. I taught listeners on the show.
You also used to work at a bank, so it seems like maybe he took your class. Maybe you were intentionally the professor.
Based on this list, one of these banks is maybe 3 minutes from my house, and another one is about 3 minutes from where I used to live.
So the FBI...
Man's hitting the old Cody Tap neighborhood watch.
We'll just go with the first name. We're not going to mention the full name of the individual. But the FBI says that Weston was arrested. This was last Thursday after multiple metro area bank robberies. Around 2 on a Wednesday, they were called to I won't even mention the banks. I don't want to.
Yeah, just banks across
They were told a man walked in, handed an employee a note that demanded money. Agents indicated the note told the teller to stay calm, put money in the envelope. He allegedly made off with around $1,200. Okay, he escaped in a red Jeep.
He robbed the whole bank for $1,200?
Yeah, no. Well, it gets worse. Then, just after 3:35, law enforcement officials said they were told a man with the same description entered another bank. He presented the same note to demand money from another teller. This time, he got around $1,700, also left in the same red Jeep. The next day, law enforcement officials said they were called to another bank after another attempted robbery. This time, investigators noted that he was granted access to the bank lobby. However, he was asked to remove his mask. He then left. Then, 2 hours later, he was called to another bank. He approached the teller, produced the same note. He allegedly sanitized the counter he had been at. Law enforcement officials said he left with around $140.
What?
Less than an hour later.
So he's been to 4 banks now.
Less than an hour later.
Attempted and successfully, I guess, at the time, robbed 3.
He went to another bank. This time he was asked to lower his mask, to which he responded, "I will in a second." He approached another teller. This time they hit the panic alarm. The same note was produced. He was agitated. He got around $3,600, allegedly. The suspect was then spotted in a vehicle on 71 Highway. He was pulled over. He then tried to get out and run. They quickly tackled him, took him into custody, and then there's a photo of a large amount of money. But he did all this, 5 alleged bank robberies. 5 bank robberies, and you only got $6,800. You're risking your life. Prison time, federal prison time for $6,800. What a complete idiot.
I'm looking at a photo of the kid. I did not teach this former student. I want that to be on the record. I did not teach.
$6,800? You're going to go to prison for 10 years or I don't know.
He was in the business
5
school.
years.
The business, I'll tell you right now. He did not learn about ROI during that program because you got to know you got to get more than $6,600 if you rob 4 banks in 2 days.
Like what? It sounds to me like he just wanted to. This is something he liked the thrill of doing it. I guess.
Desperation. I don't know.
I have
was
no
he
idea.
in trouble
It's just
financially?
crazy.
Who knows
man.
what goes through the minds of some of these criminals? But again,
Don't
if
make
you're
that
gonna
decision.
put yourself in a spot to risk spending federal prison time.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you got to think that there's a little bit more of a reward element here than $6,800.
Using the same note, too, man.
Fortunately, he was not armed. So for everybody's safety, and also I'm sure the charge will be a little different. That's also probably why he only got $6,800 for being real.
I mean, that probably didn't help the amount. But if you also don't state the amount you want, what are they going to do? Just like hand you all the money?
The letter said.
Be calm, be quick.
The letter said all bills. The letter said stay calm. All bills.
I mean, well, we're gonna hand you a bag of coin.
Is that I mean, I took that as in every bill you got.
Stay calm, all bills.
I don't think it was every bill.
Give me in a minute. Is that what you said? I will in a second. Is that what it was?
Yeah, I said I will in a second.
Legitimately, I can't imagine, but imagine walking into a bank and you're already in the spot where you're dumb enough to go through with what you're about to go through with. And all you walked out with was $140 at one of the banks? I mean, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Anyway.
That makes me think that
that's the trash.
That's why he kept going to more banks. Didn't get enough money at any of them.
I don't know, man. It's weird.
He's going to go to jail for a long time.
All right. Up next, Chiefs Red Half Hour. Let's get back into the next 3 games the Chiefs have ahead and what they have to do to not only be in position for the division, but also the number 1 seed. Plus, you're going to hear from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes right here on Cody and Gold.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Bobby Witt Jr., and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming to Missouri. On December 1st, you'll finally be able to bet on all your favorite teams and all your favorite sports. With FanDuel, there's a ton of ways for you to get in on the action. You can bet everything from the money line to over-unders to which team will win it all. You'll be able to build parlays, bet player props, or even ride the live line. Whatever your style, FanDuel has you covered. Plus, with live betting, you can pick which player will score the next touchdown or the touchdown after that. However you play your game, FanDuel's got your back. On December 1st, You'll be able to see for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. With FanDuel, there's a ton of ways for you to get in on the action. FanDuel, play your game. FanDuel Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Chiefs Checking for Community America is for real fans. Because real fans know tap to pay is the ultimate play. Zero fees mean you win with ease. And big savings at the team store means you can score more. And who doesn't love scoring more? Community America is investing in helping Chiefs fans step up their financial game. Get started today at communityamerica.com. Member owned, open to all. Community America Credit Union, invested in you.
Men, if the long lines to the bathroom have been holding you back from attending sporting events and you're waking up in the middle of the night dealing with frequent urination, it could be an enlarged prostate. Jeff Montgomery here to talk about the minimally invasive procedure I had that made a big difference. I went to Dr. Brown at Miva Medical, the leader in minimally invasive treatments in Kansas City. The procedure was quick and easy, and I'm very happy with the result. Don't put up with being uncomfortable. Contact Miva Medical. That's MIVA-medical.com.
It's football season, and the best place to catch every play is Jefferson's, with great daily specials, an unbeatable happy hour, and plenty of TVs. Every seat is the best seat in the house. Bring your friends, bring your family, and bring your appetite. From legendary wings to juicy burgers to fresh oysters, Jefferson's has your game day covered, with locations in Lenexa, North KC, Lawrence, Topeka, and Joplin. Jefferson's is your ultimate game day destination. Jefferson's, wings, burgers, oysters.
Hey Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/Royal Rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
Airman here for Midwest Heating. Now, we like to approach life in a lighthearted manner, but with the projected rise in natural gas prices, this winter's heating bills may be no joking matter. Many old furnaces have efficiency ratings as low as 60%, which means you're literally burning money. So think about this. Midwest Heating has a variety of high-efficiency Lennox systems that can heat your home, drastically improve your air quality, and boost that efficiency as high as 99%. Saving that kind of money each month will be a nice help for the other bills in your life. Even better, Midwest offers up to $1,800 in rebates on qualifying Lennox home comfort systems and up to 60-month 0% financing with approved credit. Dial 943-8787 or go to MidwestHeating.com for complete details. Now, for 7 decades, it's the same story. Trust your air to the best. Midwest. Midwest Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/life.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-5795.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Chiefs Red Half Hour brought to you by All Weather Decks, Kansas City's most respected deck builder. Check them out at allweatherdecks.net. We're talking about drawer limits for banking in the break, believe it or not, because
somebody
they have
texted.
changed it. So like when I go to the bank, and I'm like, and if I get money for like in between or some of the stuff, the gambling stuff or poker or whatever stuff we're doing.
Oh, poker.
They get it all out of the, like the cash, essentially their version, the teller version of the ATM. I imagine it's not as easy to you don't keep as much cash in your drawers you used to.
Yeah.
My drawer limit when I worked at UMB was $100,000.
That's insane.
They let me personally be in charge of $100,000 when I worked there. I imagine they don't do that anymore.
No, it's way less. It is way less.
It's been an interesting week in terms of connections to
Cody.
you,
To
Cody.
Cody.
Yeah.
Well, I don't run an illegal poker game.
Friday,
I didn't teach the former student who was robbing banks.
I understand,
last
but I think
Friday
it's just
you were
interesting.
gone. The day of Thursday, I'm sorry, you were gone. The
that was
day
an
of the
interesting day for
FBI
me to be
investigation
gone.
stuff, and then
I'm here. You don't see me in cuffs, do you?
that doesn't mean anything. You could have already bailed yourself out.
It was a quick turnaround.
Someone do some checking. Also, someone text in, please. So I got a DM from somebody on Twitter, but I think our text line is acting up. So if you don't mind, 913-586-7965. If you're out there, please text in. I think the text line is frozen is what I'm getting at. Yeah.
It happens every once in a while.
Well, I'll be honest. Usually we know it's not normal for a text not to pop up for 20 minutes. Our show, I know we have, that's not a normal thing. So
that is an uncommon amount of time. Coming up in 10 minutes, we'll hear from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. But you had mentioned earlier in the show, look, this is a massive 3-game stretch for the Chiefs. There's just no way to put it. I mean, at Buffalo, a bye, at Denver, and then the Colts. This is a huge 3-game stretch. And the way I view it is, I will take this team as serious as I take them now. As in, they are one of the 4 best teams in the NFL as it sits right now, with one of the best offenses and one of the best defenses, just as long as they win 2 out of these 3. 2 out of 3 puts a stamp on the league. If they by any chance win all 3, well, then the rest of the league is going to go running for covers. I mean, it will be running for cover. It will be like a petrifying moment for the rest of the NFL. But the most important game is at Denver. The second most important game, in my opinion, is this weekend at Buffalo, just because I don't want to go to Orchard Park in the playoffs. I don't have to. Not that they can't win there, just would prefer not to. And then the third most important is the Colts. The only reason that one's going to matter is for the number 1 seed. And it's going to tell us something about where the Colts actually are for any of the doubters that still remain. You still doubt them in some way?
I do. Yeah.
That game against the Chiefs in a month or so will tell you something about Indianapolis.
Yeah, I mean, if the Colts were to come into Arrowhead and get a win, and Daniel Jones looks great and all of that, and the Chiefs are healthy going in and don't have a catastrophic injury in the game or something, then I think I will have a different view on Indy at that point. Now, what I will say is, remember, the Colts are the 3rd game on the list in order, and it's 3rd on your list, just in terms of importance. As we all know, if the Chiefs were to lose to Buffalo, suddenly the Colts game seems far more important too. You would agree with that, right? Like if the Chiefs were to lose on Sunday to Buffalo, then the pressure in the Broncos game is turned up even more. The pressure in the Colts game.
It's right back to the same way as the Lions game was.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's like all of a sudden it's back to being must win for the division, which feels dangerous.
Yeah,
that's why that Buffalo game matters.
The Broncos game, no doubt, is because of divisional matchup and everything. But I think in a weird way, depending on your belief in the Bills still winning the AFC East versus the Patriots or something like that, there's a chance the Colts game actually has bigger ramifications than the Bills game. I know it doesn't feel that way now because the Bills are up and you want to keep the momentum going and you don't want to put the pressure that you got to win against guaranteed.
But the only reason that game will matter that much is if they win the next two. So, that's the problem. That's why it ranks third in this list. But I also you know what? As much as I think sometimes you lament having a more difficult schedule, like for instance, the Chiefs have the fourth hardest remaining strength of schedule based on teams' current win percentage. We're halfway through the season. I think it's a fair way to judge it. The Patriots have the easiest, by the way, in the NFL. But the Bills have they're medium. The Colts are medium. They're 7th or 8th. They're not way far down the list because the Jags have a winning record. The Texans are around 500. So they don't get to just walk away from these. I like this because I am at as high of a level confidence-wise as I've been in the Chiefs in a while. Maybe more, and this goes back to Patrick Mahomes saying it's more fun. Maybe more Gold than at any point during the 15-2 season. When I had real questions and I'm like, this problem's never going to get solved and every game's going to be like a sweat and I don't know what to think of it. The way they're playing right now, and because they're beating teams up so bad, I'm weirdly confident they can. I don't think they'll win all three of these games. But if you'd asked me this last year, I'd be well, they're definitely not winning all three of these games. I think it's at least a possibility this year. There's nothing that stops me from thinking. What are their, do you know their look-ahead lines? I'm now curious.
Yeah, I can pull it up.
What are the three look-ahead lines? What are they favored by in all three games? We know they're favored.
I was just going to say, you agree, though, that the toughest opponent, this is weird, this is where I don't believe in the Colts as much maybe as others. The Broncos is the game that is not only the more important one, but is the toughest game on the next three.
I think because of matchups, yes. When you're catching them, who's healthy, all that other
stuff.
Their
O-line has given up the fewest sacks in football. Their defensive line has the most sacks in football. Anyway, all right, to answer your question.
And Bo Nix is playing better.
To answer your question, look ahead lines. Right now, Chiefs -2 at Denver, so 2-point favorites, and 3.5 at home against Indy. That's just look ahead lines. It'll probably change, but if you were wondering. And then looking at the rest of the way, here, I'll just go through it real quick. So the three I mentioned, at Dallas, right now, look ahead, -6. Houston at home, -6. Chargers at home, -4. At Tennessee, -15. Denver, -4. And then week 18 at Vegas, -9.5.
It's crazy because, their schedule, after you get through these three games, Gold, list those off. It ain't that bad. Once you get through Buffalo,
Denver,
at Denver, and Colts,
Indy, at Dallas.
Rest? Okay, that's not bad.
Home to Houston. Home to the Chargers.
Not bad.
We'll see where the Chargers are at.
It's fine. But
at Tennessee, home to Denver, at Vegas.
It could be a lot worse. The fact that you have three division games, but
Indianapolis,
the 2 important ones are at home.
Indy has Pittsburgh, Atlanta, bye, Kansas City on the road. Home to Houston, at Jacksonville, at Seattle, home to San Francisco, home to Jacksonville, at Houston. And then Buffalo, if you were wondering, obviously KC, and then at Miami, home to Tampa, at Houston, at Pittsburgh, home to Cincy, at New England, at Cleveland, home to Philly, home to the Jets.
That is a significantly harder schedule than the one you just listed for Kansas City, especially after these three. This three, you know what it is? This three is the swing for everything. It is going to tell you if they're losing the division for the first time in a decade. It's going to tell you if they have a shot at the 1 seed. It's going to tell you everything you need to know about this team. They're a playoff team. We don't have any questions about that. It'll just tell you when they're going to have to play in the playoffs, what teams, what likely opponents they'll have to face in the playoffs, division or no division, 1 seed or no 1 seed. These 3 games decide all of that. They'll tell you everything about this team. They win all 3, they're going to be heavy Super Bowl favorites. Minus money maybe, which is a lot for an early season portion of a team when you can take the entire damn field against it. And if they lose a couple, then they're not going to win the division. That's the truth. They lose 2 out of 3, they're not winning the division.
I would agree with that. Up next, Andy Reid. Patrick Mahomes going to speak live here on 96.5 The Fan. We'll find out if there's an update on Trey Smith. Remember, he missed this past game due to some back spasms. That's coming up right here on Cody and Gold.
This is Wyatt Thompson, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2, right here on your home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
The NBA is back, and FanDuel is your home for live betting. So even if you miss the start of a game, you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to those fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. However you want to play, now is the perfect time to join because FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/Alex to sign up today. Play your game with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bet. Expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Things are getting spooky in South Kansas City, but the deals at Rob Sight Ford, they're scary good. Rob Sight is with me. Hey, Rob, what's haunting the lot this month?
No tricks, just treats. From Broncos to Explorers to F-150s and commercial vehicles, we've got the inventory, the selection, and the lowest prices in Kansas City.
And no creepy sales tactics, just non-commissioned staff and real value.
Exactly. And while we're on the scary stuff, Kevin, your brisket from last weekend still haunts me.
Okay, dry rub shouldn't actually mean dry.
But here's the real flavor. KC's only top-rated Ford dealer on Google, 4.8 stars with nearly 3,000 reviews. Voted best car dealership in KC by Kansas City Magazine.
If you want simple, upfront, and easy, Rob Sight Ford is the treat you've been looking for. Visit 135th and State Line and buy right with Rob Sight.
Rob Sight Ford, ROBSIGHT.com. And Kevin, leave the cooking to us this Halloween.
Having unexpected car trouble or just in a car accident? You need Jay's Southland Tow Service. They have over 20 years of experience servicing the KC Metro. They specialize in light, medium, and heavy duty, as well as commercial transport and construction equipment. Keep this number handy, 816-779-4869 or southlandtow.com. Use the tow service trusted by most local police departments, Jay's Southland Tow Service. There's nothing they can't do, so be in the know and use Jay's Southland Tow.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure what the best option is? Selling a home, especially when dealing with foreclosure, divorce, job relocation, or an inherited property, can feel overwhelming. That's why I don't just make offers. I help homeowners understand all their options so they can make the right choice with no pressure and no obligation. I'm Rex, a local homebuyer and resident right here in Kansas City. Whether you're looking for a fast cash sale or just want to explore your choices, I'll walk you through the pros and cons of selling to me or listing with an agent. If selling directly is your best move, I'll offer you a fair cash price and a closing timeline that fits your needs in as little as 7 days or on your schedule. No repairs, no commissions, no hidden fees. Just a transparent, hassle-free process so you know exactly what to expect. Let's talk. Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com for a free, no-pressure consultation. Rex Buys KC, helping homeowners make informed decisions with confidence.
Painkillers, steroids, ice packs, and gravity chairs. Nothing relieved Abby's back pain, but the answer was right there the whole time.
I've heard the QC Kinetics commercials many times on the radio, and it seemed like all of a sudden, everywhere I went, every store I went into, when I'd get in my car, there was the QC Kinetics commercial. And I'm like, okay, I'm getting the idea. I'm supposed to go and check out and have a consultation.
Patients who have exhausted every means for relief are always welcome at QC Kinetics. In fact, tens of thousands around the country will tell you that QC Kinetics regenerative treatments helped relieve their chronic joint pain without any surgery or harmful drugs.
I feel like a person that's never had back pain. And I have written QC Kinetics and the phone number down on my business card so many times I can't count.
Abby can't stop talking about what QC Kinetics did for her. Now it's your turn. Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just one cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 in monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-5795.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Jefferson's Wings, Burgers, and Oysters. Located in Lenexa, North KC, Lawrence, Topeka, and Joplin.
Wildcat fans, this is Wyatt Thompson. Tune in all season long to the play-by-play of the 2025 football season, right here on your home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
We are awaiting Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. As soon as they step up to the old podium or dais, whatever, we will go out there. And you'll hear them right here on
There
Cody
used
and
to be
Gold.
somebody on the text line that used to correct that.
There is a difference, but it doesn't freaking matter. It's one of the two, okay? It's one of the two. They'll
And
be up
everybody
there.
universally agrees to call both of them podiums. Can I say, maybe it was like...
By the way, the text line is down, so we're not ignoring you. We appreciate it.
We don't see any of
That's
them.
why I asked you to text in to see if it was working, and it's not. So for the last 30 minutes, we haven't seen your text. Apologies. Working on it.
Maybe it was... what do we think? 2 weeks ago, we did a lesson on spotting AI.
Uh-huh.
I think it was important. This lesson became very important yesterday. If you noticed, FanDuel clearly put out a piece of AI content,
The
and
top
that is
10?
the only explanation I can give for what they put out. FanDuel put out the throne in Chiefs Kingdom belongs to Patrick Mahomes with their list of Kansas City's top 10 players of all time. I want you to... Now, look, we'd all have a different list. I'd probably have more modern
Is
players
this in
based on
order?
their research. This is in order.
Okay.
Number 1, Patrick Mahomes. Nailed it. No problem. No complaints. We're good. Number 2, Trent Green.
Okay.
So the list is already problematic.
And look, Trent Green, great player, great guy.
He's not the
Should
second
not be the second best player.
He's not in the
franchise
top 10
history.
of best players in franchise history.
Yeah.
It then goes Tyreek Hill and Derek Thomas. Look, it depends on where you put Derek Thomas. He was one of the most dominant players of his era.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill is their best wide receiver probably in their franchise's history, so maybe someplace on the list. Chris Jones. It then puts Jamal Charles 7, Neil Smith 8, Willie Lanier 9, and Travis Kelce 10.
Yeah, the list is a disaster.
It's got so many problems.
There's people missing. Obviously, in order, Kelce should be much higher.
Travis Kelce's the second best player in their franchise's history, right? He's got Super Bowl rings, and he's going to go down statistically as the greatest player in his position ever.
Yeah, that would put him in that spot where he should be. Mahomes 1, Travis 2, Lynn Dawson should also. Where's Lynn Dawson's name on this thing?
He's not
I'll be
on the
honest,
list.
Cody. I think that
Lynn
list,
Dawson is not on the top 10?
You said that list came from FanDuel?
Yeah,
I think that might be somebody's actual list. If they don't know the
You
Chiefs.
don't think-
I think that I could
How the hell
see
did
that.
on Trent Green? Did his son make the list?
All I'm saying is I could see somebody actually making that list who doesn't live in Kansas City, doesn't know the Chiefs, and just knows Trent Green from, hey, I used to watch that guy play.
I
He
love
wasn't
Trent
too
Green.
bad.
He was a great quarterback.
I know, I
He was.
understand that, but I
feel
think
like people
that
know Lynn Dawson's name though, even if you're outside of Kansas. Or am I
He
just
won a Super Bowl. He's got one of the most
I didn't know
iconic
who Lynn
sports
Dawson
photos.
was until I moved to Kansas
You
City.
did? Okay.
He's
All
got
right.
one of the most
All right.
iconic sports photos of all time, I thought. Maybe that's just here.
Yeah,
I would not know it was
the
him,
list is a
I
mess. Obviously, Lenny should be on there. Some other guys shouldn't. There's a few guys that should be way higher on the list.
Travis, obviously, higher than 10.
Yeah, that's a mess of a list. it's a mess of a list. I saw that they put these out for a bunch of teams yesterday, so I think you're correct that they did a quick AI thing, kicked it out, won an engagement on their
Hey, ChatGPT, create me the top 10 list of Chiefs players.
I mean, they are missing. By the way, you said, where's Lynn Dawson? They didn't mention Tony Gonzalez didn't make the list.
He should be on there as well.
Tony Gonzalez is another player that absolutely is one of the 10 best players to ever put on a Chiefs uniform.
Yeah, it's
I mean, there's no
There's a lot of stuff to fall for these days, as we fell for.
You said Willie Lanier was on there?
Lanier was.
Yeah, like an 8 or 9, I think.
Bobby Bell was.
There's an argument that Emmett Thomas should be in consideration. I mean, there's a
Bobby Bell's probably got because he's still like the all-time, like he's got a lot of all-time defensive stats for them. But
Pro Football Hall of Famer. Anyway, let's go out to Arrowhead and hear from Andy Reid.
As far as the guys not practicing, Hollywood's sick, won't practice. Pacheco with his knee won't practice, and then Josh will be out. Other than that, everybody is going to go. Trey's going to give it a whirl. He did the walkthrough this morning, so we'll just see how he does. Look forward to the challenge of playing Buffalo again. It's all right, man. Look forward to the challenge of playing Buffalo. We know they're a good football team. There's a lot of history between the two teams over the last few years, and it's been a good battle every time that we have an opportunity to play each other. So Sean does a great job with that crew, and he's got a solid, very good coaching staff and good players. So we've got to have a good week of preparation going forward here with that time, Drew.
Hey, Andy, the trade deadline's come out next week. Can you just discuss with us kind of how you handle this with Brett Beach and kind of how these conversations go over the next few days?
Yeah, Brett does all that. I mean, he and then if he gets to a point where something's up and he feels comfortable about it, then he hits me up on it. So, but he takes care of all that. Those guys are, I mean, you know how Brett's wired, so he's endlessly looking for people and trying to bring people on and make us better. So that's how he goes about it. Yeah, I don't think so. So we'll just see how he's moving around, But he's a tough kid. So there was a point there where he wanted to go back in, and I wouldn't let him. So, but that's how he's wired. I have to cut his leg off to stop him.
Coach, the interception Patrick threw kind of on the back shoulder. Is that part of him just being more aggressive? Is that kind of you don't want to, you never want to turn over obviously, but is that kind of part of him just trusting the receivers more and maybe trying to be more aggressive?
Yeah, I'd probably say the trusting part. He's got to trust that the guys will make that play. It didn't work out for Hollywood there or Pat, but that's something that we've seen in practice and done in practice. We've had a couple in games, back shoulder throws. So, but yeah, I tell you, I would put more on the trust in the guys than anything.
Andy, what concerns you most about Buffalo, just as a team in general?
Yeah, well, I mean, their offense is special, and obviously the quarterback is one of the best in the league at what he does, and he's got a great surrounding crew, starting up front and moving on back, and then defensively, their front is again, they can bring it. They've got a solid front, and their linebackers, second. I mean, they're well coached. The scheme on both sides of the ball, special teams, they're solid there too. Well coached. Chris does a nice job with that crew, and so. They're just an all-around good football team. There are not a whole lot of weaknesses there. Yeah.
How better suited is Kareem for if it comes to a lead back role maybe this year than he was last year, just considering the circumstances?
Yeah, probably in better shape. I'd say just overall better shape. Not that he was in terrible shape before, but he's had a year to do it and get back in the swing after having a little bit of a layoff there.
Is there any reason Isaiah couldn't go this weekend? You've had Elijah this season he hasn't had a chance to be active. What have you seen from Elijah, and what's kind of kept him in that role at least, where he's been in the depth chart?
Yeah, so he First of all, he had a severe injury at one point. A lot of guys wouldn't even come back from this thing, and he battled back, and you could see him just get better every week during camp, and then progressing through to now. He takes a lot of the reps on with the scout team group. So I would tell you that we all have confidence in his playability for sure. Yeah.
Andy, when you look at Sean McDermott's team on tape, what are some mentalities or characteristics when you see like that's a McDermott team right there?
Yeah, tough, well coached. He gets all phases involved. He's a very, very thorough. I had him when he was a pup. I joke I had him when he had hair. So, but he's very, very detailed in how he goes about things.
Sam? Andy, a few of your big plays on Monday were plays that Patrick progressed through his reads. What have you just seen his development through that this year?
He's always been pretty good with doing that. It's a matter of the time that he's had to be able to get through those things. I think you have to include some of that. But again, his ability to do it on the move is unique. You see a little bit of that from Josh too. I mean, those guys, they both can do that. But he's got great vision. I know Troy Aikman mentioned him. He goes, he feels Troy was a quarterback, great quarterback. So he goes, man, his vision is unbelievable. And that's from a guy that's been there. He says he seems to see everything, and he's blessed with that part. Yeah.
How much is that progression earned by the offensive line, kind of proving it to Mahomes as the season goes along?
Yeah, say it again.
How much is it earned almost by the offensive line to show Pat you're going to have the time?
Yeah, that's I'd say that's important for the offensive line to gain that trust. I've just kind of flipped that one over, and the O-line takes a lot of pride in that, and they want to be able to keep them in there as long as they possibly can. Now, we've played, and I'd add this crew to the mix, we've played this string of defensive lines that are really good players. And for Pat to have that trust is huge. Yeah.
Sorry.
Coach, kind of on that front, I know Oliver's going to be up at the edges for Buffalo. They're deep and good. Yeah. Jim Wilson got those slow start, but really seemed to rally in the game. How is he? Yeah. Give us an update on how he's settling in and handling all the different guys that he has to see.
Yeah, I thought he just buckled down and really got himself right there. He's a big kid, strong kid. I didn't think he was utilizing that at the best at the beginning, but he found his way to do that and really trust himself against in that situation. So, and I think that's another growing phase for him in this offense. And we ask him to do a lot of things, and he's got a great attitude about it. So, but I think he could take something out of that. That'll help.
Coach, turnovers are always big, obviously. Are they even bigger on the road? Big turnovers on the road, especially in a place like Buffalo, where you just got to make sure you're taking care of them.
Turnovers are terrible. I mean, those are when you're talking about winning and losing football games. So it's hard to overcome those. And every week I give the guys the stats of the other team and win-loss and how many, whether they've won the turnover battle or lost a turnover battle. And if you lose a turnover battle, the majority of the time, you're losing the football game, and that's just how it goes. You got to take care of the football.
Last two, Nate and Blair. Go ahead, Nate.
It appears that you guys have brought in Mike Pennell today in the hopes of bringing him back. If that indeed happens, just what could he bring to your defensive line at this point in the middle of the season?
Yeah, that's Veach is all over that stuff. I haven't seen Mike Pennell, so I don't. But he was a good kid when he was here, and a good player. So if he's back up, that's great. Another good player in there. And he's got a good. You guys know him. I mean, he's got a good attitude and all that. So, but Brett, I've been cramming. I mean, we're on a short week, so all of that stuff is out there. I don't want to say I don't care, but I'm trying to take care of the other part of it.
Andy, obviously great success on fourth down this season, but your defense has also been very good on fourth down. What goes into that?
Yeah, the job that they did this past week was special, and that was very important in that game, the first half of the game. So anytime you can get off the field like that or have a turnover, I think is big for you.
All right, so that was Andy Reid speaking live here on KFNZ, FM and AM, HD1, HD2, Kansas City, and Odyssey Station. It's Cody Gold here on 96.5 The Fan. We're going to hear from Patrick Mahomes in just a couple minutes. A couple things at the very beginning of that on the injury front. Trey Smith, good news, at least going to give it a go today. The follow-up tomorrow will be the bigger story.
I think so.
Does the back flare up again after practicing for a full day? If he's good today and tomorrow he's a full participant, then it seems like they've gotten over that hurdle. Otherwise, if tomorrow suddenly he's not practicing or limited again, then we can be more concerned about his availability. Other than that, Hollywood Brown illness or sick or whatever, I'm not worried.
They know they got the bye after this, so just as long as he's feeling pretty good, he'd have a little bit of extra time to rest up before the game against Denver. And again, because they are the number one defensive line in the NFL in the sacks department, I would say you'd like a good compliment of most of your healthy offensive line going into that game. And because there is no clarity on, and there probably won't be until he's just back,
right,
when Simmons will return, we have to keep wondering about that, absolutely.
Don't forget, on Wednesdays, our lunch partner, our friends over at Jefferson's, whether it's football season, baseball season, you name it, there's no better place to watch your favorite team than Jefferson's. Great daily specials, great happy hour, locations in Lenexa, up in North KC, over in Lawrence, Topeka, and Joplin. Jefferson's, wings, burgers, oysters, and each and every Wednesday at this time, it's your chance to win a $50 gift card over at Jefferson's. Drew will do collar. What do we see?
Well, in honor of the second greatest chief of all time, maybe you should do Trent Green's.
You want to do that? 10. We can do 10. I was gonna go with Cincinnati's 3 wins or whatever it is, but we can 10. Collar 10, Drew. 913-586.
That's a joke from someone we were saying earlier. I don't
7965. Yeah, that is definitely a joke.
If somebody just tuned in, they're like, "Did Cody just say Trent Green was the second greatest chief of all time?"
It's a joke from a graphic that was on social yesterday. 913-586-7965. Caller number 10 taking home a gift card to Jefferson's. We're going to hear from Mahomes in the next couple of minutes and see if he's asked more about the interception that he had. Overall, he's playing at an insane rate. We went over this yesterday, some of his better numbers and stretches since 2021/2022. But Andy was asked about, the interception where it was intended for Hollywood Brown. Great pick from Lattimore too, but on that one, is Mahomes just being more aggressive too? Because now he's like, I got all these guys that can make plays.
Time to let loose, and I can actually give and look, sometimes you should give your receiver a chance. I'd point out, more aggressive is relative. He leads the NFL in passing touchdowns. He's not that far off in passing yards. He has 4 interceptions this year, and 2 of them are off the hand of Travis Kelce.
Right.
So in 8 games, he has personally thrown 2 picks. Like, I know he has 4, but like, we all have eyes and know what happened in the other 2 interceptions. They were off their guys' hands. So like, he has personally thrown 2 balls. One was the one that cost him the Jags game, unfortunately. And the other one was one that didn't end up costing him, but ended up being a dangerous throw, and a really good play got made. If he doesn't make a really good play, maybe you just get away with it. You got to live to fight another day, But
yeah, I think the one thing that
I'll take the chances sometimes.
Yeah, I'll definitely take the reward, if you will, on the risk-reward assessment. I think the last couple weeks, even if it hasn't always resulted in an interception, you could still say there has been a play in which the opposing team has had a chance to pick Patrick Mahomes off at least once a game. That has been a thing. But I think the risk is worth what we're seeing reward-wise, which is him playing backyard football again and all that, which is still what makes him so special, too.
Do you know, that stat that we've talked about from Pro Football Focus, interceptable passes? Do you know that their tracking statistic on that suggests that interceptable passes are only picked off half the time, like 50%? So, that interceptable? Kinda. But it's still a 50-50 proposition. So when Mahomes is taking those chances, what are we talking about? A 50% chance? For him, it's got to be less than that, historically, based on just how good of a quarterback he is. That doesn't factor in, like what Ross Tucker was talking about, when they go for it on 4th down. The Chiefs make more sense to be an aggressive team because all the metrics that say you should go for it more are based on teams that aren't the Chiefs. The Chiefs would be a more logical team to go for it even more just based on their offensive success, the players they have, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, everything, you know?
The other thing we know from yesterday and the reports out there, Mike Pennell back in Kansas City today for a visit. Andy Reid, we all know the response you're going to get there. You still got to ask the question, but that, obviously.
He's not technically signed yet.
Yeah, so he's saying, Veach is handling that. Look, barring something surprising happening, Mike Pennell is going to sign back with the team today.
Yes.
They'll put out a social media graphic saying, welcome back, Mike.
Chris Jones will send out a tweet.
Chris Jones will be excited because it was just a few weeks ago where Chris Jones was saying, I got to get my guy back. He was still employed by the Cincinnati Bengals at the time. He just got released. They agreed to release him yesterday. Cincinnati did. And he's going to sign back with Kansas City and going to give them some depth on the interior and hopefully help them in some run situations when they're going to face a James Cook, when they're going to face a Jonathan Taylor.
They face the 4 leading rushers in the NFL as of this moment in the next 4 games consecutively. I'm not saying it will be that in every single one they face, but it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Cook, Taylor, not in that order.
Yeah, I got you.
Cook, Taylor, Javonte Williams, who is currently in the top, and J.K. Dobbins, who's currently in the top 10 in leading rushers in the NFL. So, yeah. I mean, they got a lot of people coming their way. Wouldn't hurt to have one more run stuffer. They were planning on Omar Norman Lott. You and I both think, we'll talk more trade stuff tomorrow, but I don't think this should prohibit them, nor do I think it will prohibit them from making a move. That's all.
All right, let's go back out to Arrowhead and hear from Patrick Mahomes.
Just Tuesday, you have a little bit longer day on Tuesday where you go back and you have to watch kind of twice the games you would usually do on a when you have Monday and Tuesday. But you have a good familiarity with this team, obviously, with how many times we've played them and the coaches and the defenses that they play. But they do a good job of being game plan specific every single year. And so I think there's just a lot of great football players that we're going up against, and we know it's to take our best football. I think that's the biggest thing I've learned from this rivalry is that it's going to be one play here or there that's going to change the outcome. You have to go out there and make it.
Kareem showed you that he's capable of being the lead guy over the last calendar year if it does come to that.
Yeah, I mean, every time he's in there, it seems like good things happen. I mean, obviously, his track record speaks for itself as far as the way he's been able to play this year, but in previous years as well. And so we'll see where we get to on that. But at the same time, we have confidence that if his number's called, he'll be ready for it.
I'd ask you after the game about your second and third reads. Is that something you can consciously work on in the offseason during the week? Like, what's the preference?
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely work on it just through reps. I mean, through drills and stuff like that of just kind of having different things that you use with the coaches of code words and stuff for them to make you have to kind of be on one read and reset to the next one and make the throws and stuff like that. And so the coaches do a great job of that all off season and during the season as well. And so we try to make sure that we're in the right space so I can be better at it each and every year.
Comfort behind this offensive line, how much does that factor into your ability to do that?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, when you know you're getting the time and get the time to sit in the pocket and kind of go through your reads and make that stuff happen, it gives you confidence that you're seeing the right stuff. And if you have confidence, then you can kind of go out there and throw it the way you want to throw it. And I think that's huge, and that it all starts up front with the O-line.
Patrick, once you get here, you're going to play whatever's on the schedule, right? Buffalo's next, you have the amount of time. But when the schedule comes out, you look at it and go, and you guys last year happened to play every day of the week except for Tuesday. Do you look at the schedule and go, oh, really, Buffalo on a short week? Like, we couldn't have fit that in. Is there anything that goes through your head when you see that on there?
No, not really. I mean, I think everyone deals with it. I mean, obviously, we're going up against a great football team. But, I mean, you kind of, that's part of playing in the NFL is you have to be able to be ready for sudden changes like that. Or, I mean, that could happen to you in the playoffs. So what another opportunity to be on a short week against a great football team and see how your team responds. And so it's stuff that you can learn from and build from. And so I'm just excited to get to go up again and play in a big game in a great environment.
Patrick, since you've been there enough, do you enjoy playing in Buffalo? And what's that environment like compared to other road games that you see consistently on the schedule?
I mean, they don't like us. I mean, that's pretty. They do not like the Chiefs. But I mean, it is a cool environment. I love playing in like historic stadiums. And that stadium has had so many great players play in it. And who knows, it might be the last time that we get the opportunity to play there. It'll be a great challenge for us. And they're loud, and that's what you want. You want to go in and be in a hostile environment. That's what football when you watch on TV as a kid growing up is the environments you want to play in. And so obviously they're not rooting for us, but you get to bond together as a team and get to go into a historic stadium and play in a great environment.
The rivalry's been unique, and it seems like they always get the regular season, and you guys get the better of them in the playoffs. And what do you make of that uniqueness, I suppose?
I don't know, honestly. I mean, it all the games come down to like one. I think other than like 2 games that we've played against each other, every single game comes down to like one play here or there that someone has to make, if that's offense, defense, whatever it is. And so I think it just comes down to players making plays in big moments, and that's kind of worked out for us in the playoffs and worked out for them in other times. To me, it's just about the next time. It's about going out there and playing against a great football team and knowing that it's not like we can think that's going to happen again. You get to go out there and play with your best ability that next time you get the opportunity to.
Patrick, as a quarterback, when you're watching Josh Allen, is there something he does that you watch and go, man, I wish I could do that like he does, or something impressive that he does?
No, I mean, to be that size and be able to move like that, I think he's done so many great things as far as throwing the football and stuff like that, but the way he's able to extend plays and get close to the sideline and make these big-time throws down the field, that stuff is special. And so he's gotten better and better each and every year. I think that's something that I've seen in him, and so that's something that I try to do for myself as well. And so he's a great football player.
Patrick, what stands out to you about this Bills defense on tape?
Yeah, I think they're extremely talented. They're extremely well coached. They do the right thing. They're always in the right spot. It's not like they have any busted coverages or anything like that. And then they have a good sense of what you're trying to do. So if that's even the linebackers moving to the right zones at the right time, or DBs kind of the same, or D linemen even getting the hands up and being in the right spot that you want to throw the football, they do a great job of that. And I mean, they're well coached and they have a lot of great football players. And so it's always a great challenge for us, and you have to make sure that you're locked in the entire game, or they're gonna capitalize on your mistakes.
When you go into a hostile environment like that, what type of mentality do you have to have on that field?
I think it's cool, honestly, just because like you have to bond together as a team. And I mean, you do that at Arrowhead, and you kind of have the crowd behind you. And whenever stuff isn't going well, you can kind of feed off the crowd and stuff like that. Whereas when you're on the road, you just have your teammates. You have your teammates and your coaches, and you kind of have to bond together. And there's going to be adversity, and it's how you can bond together and come out on the other side of that, and come out on the right way with a win.
Was there an easy answer for the idea that you seem to have as good as, if not better, stats in road games than home games?
I think it's just like I said, you go on these trips, and like even more than the football games, just being on the plane and then being in the hotel and stuff like that, you kind of build this culture and this team, and so it's cool whenever you step on that football field, and everybody's against you, and you know you have your brothers behind you, and it takes everybody, and I think it's just been special that we've been able to do that, play these road games and win these games. It's because this team comes together, and we go out there and play our best football, even on the road sometimes.
One of the things that's a thread with your losses in the regular season of the Bills has been turnovers. You guys have been high minus in most of those games, and not all turnovers are the same. Sometimes you get got, sometimes the ball just bounces the wrong way. When you think back to these games, which one of those is more like it? Like they made some nice plays, or you guys made mistakes? How do you characterize those?
No, that's kind of what I'm saying. Like even I think turnovers are one thing, but just in general, like if you don't stay locked in the entire game, they capitalize on the mistakes, and if that's even like just a little missed assignment or a missed throw that you need to make to kind of keep ahead of the chain, stuff like that. They get you in 3rd and long, and then they come up with some type of blitz that's unscouted, and they blitz you, and all of a sudden you give them the ball back to them, and that's a great offense. And so they do a great job of just capitalizing on your mistakes, having the little wrinkles here and there so that you're never really comfortable at the quarterback position. And so you have to be locked in the entire time, and when it's not there, you have to find ways to get to the check down or wherever that is to stay ahead of the sticks so they can't get you off the football field.
Andy was talking about your trust in the receiver. We were talking about the interception when you're going for Hollywood on the back shoulder. How's that play supposed to look?
Yeah, no, that it was a play that we were trying to go over the top, but the Lattimore had great coverage, and I tried to throw the ball and kind of sneak it the back shoulder to him before he got his eyes around. And he got his eyes around and made a great play, and so I have trust in those guys that we're going to make plays happen, and sometimes defenses make plays. That's just kind of part of it, and we learn from that. And so the next opportunity that we have, we're on the same page a little bit better, and we're able to complete the pass and not have interception or whatever the mistake was.
Patrick, Coach Reed just told us he's really not worried about anything else. He has to cram because it's a short week. Do you feel like you spend more time knowing that it's a short week, going to play Buffalo, trying to get everything in?
Not more than I would spend on a normal short week. I mean, just I think usually like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are like the busiest on the short week because you're trying to make up for that Monday. But then by Friday, you kind of have everything done. And so I think the hardest is for Brittany because she knows I'm going to be in the building a lot. So she had a little bit more time with the kids that she's going to be watching all three of them. But other than that, I think it's kind of a normal week after a Monday game.
Brittany and the kids ready for Halloween?
They're very ready for Halloween. We're on the countdown. I didn't know there was a countdown to Halloween. I thought it was only Christmas. But every night it's like, how many more nights do we have until Halloween? And so they're very excited. And so I'm trying to knock everything out so that Friday I'm able to go out there and enjoy that with them and get a lot of candy. And I'm sure try not to give them too much of it.
Is there a family Halloween costume that you guys are going to have?
Yeah, it's a surprise. So y'all will see. I'm sure it'll be on Instagram somewhere.
Patrick, just that point you made about sometimes defenses make plays. How hard is it to just get that in your mind, and does that give you perspective on how much you can let go and just be you?
Yeah, I don't know if it's like from playing in the Big 12 and like the air raid or whatever it is. It's just like you always have that next play mentality of like if something bad happens, you got to score the next play. So you got to keep going and keep that mindset going. And so I've never really had a problem with it. It's just like if they make a play, that they're paid to make plays too. Now I'm just trying to find a way to make up for it by going up there and just executing the next play and then kind of keep that mindset. And so interceptions happen, stuff like that happens. I don't want it to happen, but at the same time, what are you going to do about it after?
It helps keep you from being frustrated with yourself in that instance? I mean, is that kind of thing?
As long as we win, I don't care how it looks. So if I'll be frustrated after the game if the interception caused us to lose the game, but if we find a way to win the football game at the end of the day, I'll be perfectly fine.
There you go. Patrick Mahomes, just win. That's all that matters on Sunday as the Chiefs take on the Bills in Buffalo. Of course, the 3:25 kickoff. We're back away from the primetime slot for a little while. Are they done? Am I missing it? Is there another? Oh, Christmas Day.
No, Christmas Day. Thanksgiving Day.
But that's day. I guess it's still prime.
I consider that prime time just because it's Thanksgiving.
Fair enough.
I think we consider those like 3 Thanksgiving games as like they're all prime time games.
Now,
I guess,
Broncos
in my
is
mind.
at night for sure. The one at Arrowhead, of course. On
Like
Christmas.
people probably view that differently. I think I view it that way because it's a standalone game. There's literally no other football game.
Is there another one we're missing? I thought they had 8 this year. Am I off? Or
Yeah,
no?
Houston, Sunday Night Football.
That's the other one. Yeah. That's
I don't know if that
which
one's gonna stay there.
Flexed? I mean, Houston, we'll see. Can Houston win a couple games heading in? They just won last week against
if they beat Indy
San
this
Francisco.
week, then maybe we're having a conversation.
No,
Denver?
They're playing
Denver?
No. Oh, my gosh.
Is it the Broncos?
Is it?
I
Maybe
feel
you're
like
right.
it's
It is
the
Denver.
Broncos.
It is Denver.
Yeah, Broncos.
Yeah.
I was like, they play one of the teams the Chiefs care about.
Yeah, Houston's the other. Houston is the only other night game along with Christmas night remaining.
Yeah, so just 3 remaining primetime games of the 9 they have left on the schedule. Also, I can't believe that Colts game is going to end up sticking at noon.
Good.
Unbelievable.
I love, like
2 massive
stretch-
opponents. We're going to get them in the middle of a noon slated game. That's how bad they thought the Colts were going to be.
If the game's going to be at home, it might as well be at noon is where I'm at. Like for a road game, I actually like the 3:25 because I can red zone channel it up before.
Sure.
But if it's a home game and I'm going, then I'd rather just be at noon and let's just get it over with.
They have 3 noon games left on the schedule, which is weird for them. Indianapolis, the Chargers on December 14th, and Tennessee.
So the Colts game getting flexed. It's too late now, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, I think you have to give 21 days notice. Maybe it's 14 for
Hold on.
changing it to 3:25.
Romo and Nance have done a few noon games too. so
Not flex to Sunday Night Football. I'm talking about a move to 3:25. I don't think you actually have to give 21 days if you just say we're changing this slot of the game.
I mean, Romo and Nance have done a number of CBS games at noon this year. Like I think they've done at least two or 3 nooners. So I feel like that's
not out of the question.
Yeah, not out of the question.
There's a huge Sunday Night Football. There's like Tampa Bay and the Rams for the night that you're thinking.
I'm seeing 12.
I don't think Sunday
Cody,
night's getting flexed.
maybe I'm reading the wrong. I'm seeing 12-day notice, but I
so
don't know 100%
still
on
in
that.
the
Admittedly,
range.
that might not be. But if I'm reading it correctly, it sounds like weeks 5 through 13 you have to have 12-day notice.
I do think it was funny. Pat was asked about is there anything that Josh Allen does? You're like, man, I really wish that I could do that. He goes, I mean,
be that big, and move
to,
that
to,
fast?
to be that big, but I mean, yeah, Josh is a great player. Like he quickly was like,
he's the best quarterback in the league.
I know, which
I
is
do.
why
I do everything.
I'd be all for him to just say that one time.
It
Please.
feels
Like,
a little.
I mean,
it feels a
he's
little
great
bit
quarterback,
like
but I'm the best.
There was a trend a little bit on social media. I think it was mostly on TikTok, where like people were asking their like previous athletic family members if they wish they were more athletic, but it had started to extend to like there was a clip of like Simone Biles' friend asking her like, "Do you ever wish you were more athletic?" And she's like, do you know who I am?
That's a crazy question.
I'm Simone Biles. Yeah. And so it had started with regular people, Drew, but then it was like other Hall of Famers or this. And somebody asked Simone Biles. And some of the Hall of Famers, like baseball guys, were like, yeah, there's other things I wish people were doing. But then Simone Biles was just, no, I'm good. I'm maximum athletic. Nobody's more athletic than me.
Olympian, gold medal, multiple gold medal award-winning gymnast. That is kind of like the epitome of athleticism. I think I'm good.
Yeah. I think the only thing Patrick Mahomes wish he was Josh Allen's size.
Yeah. A couple people.
Everything else he possesses.
Text line is back up, so we appreciate your interaction. Someone brought up a point about the Colts game. The other reason why it's unlikely to get flexed is they're saying, well, the next week is Thursday, Thanksgiving. They may not want to make the game later.
That might be why. That may be why it was at noon.
That might be why it stays at noon.
There you go. Good
no,
point,
part of the reason it was
line.
at noon is because Indianapolis they didn't think it was going to matter. That doesn't matter. They definitely matter now. I almost said that. But at the time, dude, they looked at Daniel Jones and Shane Steichen on the hottest of hot seats, and they were like, what, we're going to waste our time putting that in prime time? They were wrong on the Colts. A lot of us were, but that's why that game was originally at noon. But yeah, the Thursday night Dallas game might have an impact on it. Is Dallas playing at noon that time though too? They don't hardly ever play noon games.
Man, I don't know.
You know,
Cowboys schedule. They play. They play in Dallas at 3:25. So
is the game in Dallas?
Yeah, they're not. The Cowboys don't have to travel though. I don't know. That
Chiefs don't.
I don't know if they actually thought
to go to Dallas.
I don't know if they thought that through exactly to that degree, but
no idea.
If I were the TV people, I think I'd be very tempted by Chiefs Colts. Not at Sunday Night Football. That's Bucks Rams. I think that week. We looked at it. There's not like a logical
What's the rest
game.
of the slate though? Like that, everybody's going to be watching that Chiefs Colts game anyways. Like it might as well be a primetime game at noon.
So that's week 10 or no? What week 12, right? Week 12. Week 12 NFL schedule. The other game. So you mentioned Sunday night is Bills Texans. They're not going to flex that out.
It's Bills Texans. I thought it was a different one. Okay, I was going to make some of the Rams one later in the year.
Or sorry, I just read it
Rams
wrong.
Bucks.
Sorry, Bills Texans is the Thursday game. My apologies.
Okay.
Sunday night football is Bucks Rams. Then the other 3:25 games: Falcons Saints, Eagles Cowboys. Well, Fox is going to keep that one, even no matter what. So there you go. And then Jags Cards, Browns Raiders.
I'm saying, what are the other noon games? Because the
Patriots Bengals, Steelers Bears, Giants Lions, Jets Ravens, Seahawks Titans, Vikings Packers, Bills.
Maybe Steelers Bears can get viewership, but it feels like Colts Chiefs is
they're going to
might as well be a considered prime time.
CBS is just going to make Colts Chiefs the national.
Yes.
It's going to air in every
Most
market
of the
other
country
than
at noon will get Chiefs Colts.
And Jim Nantz and Romo will be on the call, 100%.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. If it's not your team playing at noon, it'll be Chiefs Colts. That's all we know. That's fine. I mean, you can have noon games that are big games. It just always throws me off.
Someone says, "Why the F is the text line always broken, fellas?" I don't know. It's working now.
Y'all need to work on your infrastructure. Well, look, I can't. It's not on us.
Yeah. Maybe I want the text line to be back down. I gave you credit on the text line, and now the same person is texting 7 times the same thing. I already said, you know what? That's a good point. Although we already found out that the Cowboys play at 3:25, so that theory may not be true anyway.
No, it's fair. There's a lot of questions in it. I think it was largely at noon because they thought they were going to stink, and they don't always move football games, even if on paper it looks like it's a better one. That's all.
All right. Up next, let's get back into Josh Simmons and Jalen Moore and the dynamic there, including some new details from Albert Breer about where things stand with Simmons, plus the random question of the day.
You're listening to Cody and Gold. Tune in for the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day, starting at 11:30 right here on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
Having a financial partner who's all in changes everything. It's the difference between hoping for a home and holding the keys, between dreaming about your own business and actually opening the doors. between turning what ifs into what's next. At Community America, we're here for every moment, with financial expertise built around every part of your life. Because when you have a financial partner that's invested in every part of you, you can't help but feel like a star. Member owned, open to all. Community America Credit Union, invested in you.
It's football season, and the best place to catch every play is Jefferson's, with great daily specials, an unbeatable happy hour, and plenty of TVs. Every seat is the best seat in the house. Bring your friends, bring your family, and bring your appetite. From legendary wings to juicy burgers to fresh oysters, Jefferson's has your game day covered, with locations in Lenexa, North KC, Lawrence, Topeka, and Joplin. Jefferson's is your ultimate game day destination. Jefferson's, wings, burgers, oysters.
This is Dana Hughes. In Kansas City football, we honor tradition, but we always look forward to what's next. That's why I'm all in for Flight by Yingling. It's brewed by the oldest brewery in America, but built for today. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, crisp, clean, and full of flavor, just the way a light beer should be. It's got the legacy and the stats to back it up. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer and the official beer of Dana Hughes. D.G. Yingling and Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming to Missouri. On December 1st, you'll finally be able to bet on all your favorite teams and all your favorite sports. With FanDuel, there's a ton of ways for you to get in on the action. You can bet everything from the money line to over-unders to which team will win it all. You'll be able to build parlays, bet player props, or even ride the live line. Whatever your style, FanDuel has you covered. Plus, with live betting, you can pick which player will score the next touchdown or the touchdown after that. However you play your game, FanDuel's got your back. On December 1st, you'll be able to see for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, there's a ton of ways for you to get in on the action. FanDuel, play your game. FanDuel Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a lot more.
And I completely agree. That's why I'll pay more for your car at GiveMeTheVin.com. That's the name of our new campaign. I'm worth more. You are worth more, and your car's worth more. And that's why I will pay more. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100 at GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-555-2085. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-555-2085. That's 800-555-2085. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-555-2085.
Ready to kick off the fun? Chumba Casino is your go-to game plan during halftime or overtime. From spinning slots to instant scratch-style cards, it's like running the perfect play, all from home. New players score a free welcome bonus and daily logins with a shot at some serious prizes every time you play. Get in the game and visit ChumbaCasino.com today. Let's Chumba. Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not
not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
Brought to you by Gomer's. 5 locations in the KC Metro or online at gomers.com.
Want to know something scary good? Gomer's is scary good. They've been voted the #1 KC liquor shop since the beginning of voting for KC liquor stores. Really, Gomer's Fine Wines and Liquors. 5 locations and family owned since 1969.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Back here on Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tabb, Drew Nixon with you. Yeah, right? That's the third time today, man.
Twice.
Twice? Okay.
Yeah, twice. I'll have to go get a towel on the break. Wait, is this a napkin?
Yeah. There you go.
Right.
Uh-huh.
No, I was laughing at Rob because we were talking about, he seemed stunned that Drew didn't know about the Halloween party until yesterday.
Oh, the in-office potluck thing. Yeah.
The Drew was like,
Did you determine what you're bringing? We're on remote Friday. We'll be out at Community America Credit Union for a Red Friday tailgate on Halloween. We'll be having some fun out there at one of the Blue Springs branches. But Drew is going to give us the 411 on the potluck Friday and find out what looked edible and what didn't.
It says it'll be candy since it's a Halloween, and it says face painters.
At Community America, yeah.
Do you want to get your face painted? Is
it
appropriate for your costume?
No,
it wouldn't
bring
make any.
candy tomorrow?
The
That
only
actually
way
might be what I do.
Yeah, the cost, it would have to be a certain thing painted. Otherwise, it would make no sense for my costume on Friday.
All
yeah.
right.
And sorry, Drew, we cut you off there. What did you say you're bringing?
I might bring candy. It is Halloween after all.
Just bring a bunch of candy.
I believe that was mentioned in that they would have trick-or-treating options available.
Look, Park said that he was going to bring cookies after cookies were already mentioned, so I can bring candy if candy's already mentioned, as far as I'm concerned.
Wow, calling out Parks like that.
Well, he's the one that replied all to the email.
Any chance Parks makes those cookies?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think he's going straight to like Hy-Vee.
I will tell him that you said that.
Okay. I mean, I'm not. Parks and I feel like we 3 different times we've had a little run-in out here in the hallway. He tries to take a little shot.
Someone said
Says, "Did my wife look at me before I left the house and the way I was dressed?" We had to go back and forth a little
he's
bit.
caught up me as well.
I will say, I swung for a haymaker, which was probably unnecessary because he was just pulling jabs. It was probably unnecessary a shot I took.
Strong.
It was a little too strong. I should have come at like 50% there, and I went for the full 100. I've laid off for a while.
You can't count on much, but you could always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game all season long, kicking off with Week 9 matchup between the Chiefs and the Bills. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. Before we get to the random question of the day, Jalen Moore continues to start at left tackle. That'll be the case again on Sunday. Josh Simmons got a little more insight from Albert Breer, and now even with Nate Taylor's reporting over the weekend suggesting that there's at least week-to-week communication happening. I'll just read you this from Albert Breer. This came out yesterday. Quote, and some of this we already know, all right? But, quote, what I know is that the issue first arose just before the Jags game. Simmons ended up playing in that matchup, then left right before the Lions game. The cited family aspect of his absence is real, and that was part of the background that teams had to work through when he was coming out of college. Here's the other detail that's important. If the Chiefs felt like this was going to be an absence of more than a month, they would have placed him on the non-football injury list. So the timeline as they work with Simmons, and they've been in constant communication with him as of late, has been more week to week than long term. And then he goes on to say, getting Simmons back, another reason to believe the Chiefs are only going to get better. So some of that we already knew. The more interesting part is the cited family aspect of his absence is real. And that was a part of the background that teams had to work through.
I went through and tried to find a report that stated that in his draft stuff. I can't find it. There was some there are concerns about him that aren't just the injury, but they were all stated incredibly vague.
Yeah.
Not that it was about family or any of this other stuff. And, I think some people took that to mean like a lack of desire of football, but that's not what this is certainly indicating.
Yeah, we've tried not to speculate on the exact reasoning. I think the family part there is the most interesting of the report, the cited family aspect.
I think that
it's not saying a family health emergency. It's not saying a family emergency, just the family aspect of his absence.
The only thing I care to know is when he is returning and when you can expect him to be a regular starter. I think someone on the text line earlier be like, what are you trying to get their money back by knowing when? I'm like, I still don't think it's weird to want to know when the starting left tackle is going to return. My entire thing is I don't think if he doesn't come back after the bye that he is going to have any chance of starting for the Chiefs unless there's significant downgrade in play for more or an injury to more.
It feels like, though, you would agree based on the updated reporting in the last week, though, that the expectation is now that he is going to return to the team this year.
That certainly is the way they're talking about it, yes.
Because at first it was a complete unknown. Like, is this going to be an all? And now it seems like, it's week to week, so things can change, but it's heading down a path where there's going to be, I don't even want to say resolution because we don't know what the issue is, but you know what I mean? Like, as far as what you're saying, though, is at some point, if you miss, let's say it ends up being 6 games, your chances of starting again, if there's not an injury in the year 2025, are pretty slim.
Yes.
But Jalen Moore, for the first 2 drives on Monday night, he was getting worked.
Yeah, it was looking a little dicey there.
He was getting worked there. And so the level of play is also going to change some of the urgency from the fan base.
Yeah.
And then, as the team, again, it's so hard to say this because we don't know what he's gone for, but like the team will have some more urgency too.
I guess part of this is like and this is because it's a somewhat unprecedented situation, it appears, how they will handle the idea of, let's say Jalen Moore's been working hard, practicing hard, doing a good job. Look, and there were some signs there that maybe as a backup player, sometimes you get exposed in long stretches versus short stretches. And so it being the 3rd game you had started, maybe there'll be more problems by the 4th or 5th game you start. And the best defensive line in the NFL, arguably, is coming to town, or you're going to their town in 2 weeks when you take on Denver. So, yeah, I am curious. How does the team handle like a guy who is played hard, played good in his spot, has been the starter, and then someone who's just been away from the team for a month, and without knowing what has kept him?
No, if Jalen
Moore,
Moore,
they know what's keeping him away from the team. But like,
either Jalen Moore's play has to become an issue, or they truly think the gap between the two is just so drastic that they're not able to
but
do.
He's not playing so bad that it feels that.
That's
drastic.
I agree with you. Yeah. Or they would just have to think that there's things that they want to do offensively that for whatever reason, like his play doesn't allow them to do that, and I don't think we're there yet. So. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean long-term that you don't become the left tackle again by any means, but in the year 2025, there's a chance that he doesn't start at left tackle the rest of the year.
And then I think going into next year, unlike the previous years where we're asking, do they have enough talent at tackle? The question will be, are we good? Like, is whatever happened behind, or like in a position where Simmons is expected to be here all the time the rest of the way? And that would largely be solved, Gold, by him being back with the team, whether he starts or not, being back with the team, participating with the team, and being around the team the rest of the year. So, but I don't think it's crazy to look at Moore's performance, and he wasn't bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that
After the first 2 drives, he played fine.
Yes. But
the first 2 drives, he was getting worked.
And still, at no point has he played as good as Josh Simmons was playing. So there was it's been a bit of a downgrade. Not a huge downgrade, not like what they suffered through last year. And that's, again, not what I'm trying to say. But for a guy finally showing, there's a reason sometimes why guys have spent almost none of their time being starting NFL tackles. He has spent a huge chunk of his career not being a starting NFL tackle. So far this year, he's rated as the 61st rated pass blocking
someone says
tackle, and he's been rated as 29th rated run blocking tackle.
Yeah.
He's 36th overall. He's been actually a perfectly average tackle, which is all we were looking for at the beginning of this year and why they signed Jalen.
Someone says when he's back, he'll start. I don't think that's going to be the case. Like let's say that the Chiefs play Sunday, they're on a bye, and then the Monday after the bye, he's back in the facility. Great news, right? He's back in the facility. Getting ready for the Colts. I think that's pretty surprising that Josh Simmons would be back the week of the Colts game and start that week after not being around the team for, at that point, a month.
I think it is very much play dependent. Like, let's say let's take one layer to what you just said, Gold. They play the Bills and they win. Jalen Moore plays well. And then it's the bye week. You sure? Now let's go the other way. Jalen Moore gets worked in the Bills game and they lose. And he is a huge reason why, because Patrick Mahomes can't stay off his ass. Well, I'll tell you, I think there's a better chance that Jalen Moore is going to start coming out of the bye if that's the
Josh
case.
Simmons.
Or Josh Simmons starts coming out of the bye.
That's assuming he's back. That's assuming, in that same hypothetical, that's assuming that Josh Simmons is available.
Which is still not something we actually have an answer on. They say they're communicating all the time.
Feels like there's progress in terms of, I think clearly you guys remember their initial reporting was there was frustration, lack of communication. And then last week, Andy was very clear to say that, it's not a negative. We're communicating. Like, they wanted to emphasize that. And now Albert Breer has a report saying the communication as of late has been good. It tells you that initially the frustration was around they weren't able to get in touch with the individual. Yeah. That's what it sounds like.
It is still a very odd situation.
Coming up in 20 minutes, Josh Klingler, who will be on the sideline in Buffalo. We'll check in with him and find out. He's been to Buffalo a few times now, but we were looking at the weather forecast for Sunday yesterday, and it looks like it's not going to be as brutal as some of the other Buffalo games have been. As of now, 50 degrees or so.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
For Buffalo? You could have a blizzard by now.
Someone says Denver, not Indy. Whatever. You get the point, right? Denver, not Indy. Same thing. Exact same hypothetical applies. Thank you, text line. All right, let's get to the random question.
Random question.
For you, Gold. For you, Drew. Text line 913-586-7965. Of course, the random question today is brought to you by Kansas City Urology Care at KCUC. Remember, you see the best in KC. Visit kcurology.com today. You can hit us up on the chats, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook. Try to interact with you there. The text line is back up and running now, so you can see your text for that as well. I'm asking this question specifically because I was asked for something, and I think it's appropriate knowing that we are not yet to Halloween on Friday, till Friday. My question for you is, when do you start shopping for Christmas or Hanukkah or any of the other, let's say, end-of-the-year style holidays? Because I got asked for what I wanted for Christmas this week. I will point out that it is October 29th. I've told my kids, I guess, based on that thing, I guess I'll make my kids.
You got asked as well.
So the question I have for you is, when do you personally start looking at what you're purchasing for for Christmas, or whatever your
Hanukkah, Kwanzaa,
whatever you celebrate? They land in a similar.
Not now.
frame.
I'll tell you that.
When's Hanukkah this year? Is it early or late in the month?
December 14th is the first night,
so
I believe.
Mid-December.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not until Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving? That's late.
It's not. It's 2 weeks before. That's a month. That's almost a month before Christmas.
That feels like I'm kind of late in the game if I'm waiting that long.
Yeah,
do you guys mostly
agree.
exchange? You guys get together on Christmas. Do you exchange mostly on that day, despite the fact obviously you get together for some Hanukkah day?
So my nephews, they still do the every night present thing. But as far as when we can all get, because everybody's off of work, we do one big gift exchange still, even though. Because us all getting together
for Christmas because everybody's off.
Everybody's off.
Sure.
And some years it overlaps and it's on. Like this year, the last night is Christmas Eve actually. Anyway, long story. Anyway, whatever. People don't care about that.
So you're saying Thanksgiving?
Yep.
I'm thinking 2 weeks. Drew, where are you at?
So I was asked by my parents, like, hey, you guys need to make in some of your Christmas lists here soon. So I would say buy a week before Thanksgiving, because obviously the Black Friday deals and stuff like that.
That's why I say Thanksgiving. Black Friday.
Yeah, but that feels like cramming at the end of the week for a test or something like that.
Cramming is
I
shopping on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, but in terms of getting the best deals, like if you're looking up and coming up with your list on Thanksgiving evening, I like to have it done before then.
I'll say Z Lopez over on Twitch says Thanksgiving traditionally, Black Friday is around they start. Said they picked up early tickets this year because their daughter wanted to go to Nutcracker.
Okay.
That is also, I very rarely buy my kids something that has to be executed before. Normally it's if they want to go to something for a Christmas related thing, I always feel like it's if they want to, my daughter asked when she can go to another concert.
Gotcha. And
I said, I don't know, what kind of concert do you want to go to? And so I was looking at tickets for that, but I wouldn't choose something that's December 20th for the concert.
How many people do you think are going to get tickets to the Christmas night game on Christmas Day?
Oh, a bunch.
How many people?
Bunch.
How many people is that happening?
That's a common one because you do the big Christmas thing at 8 a.m. You're like, you're going to the Chiefs game tonight. Woo. Yeah, of course, man. Yeah. That's a layup.
Yeah.
If your kid's been asking to go to a Chiefs game and you're willing to spend the hundreds of dollars it takes to go there, easy gift. Makes sense, especially if you know that that's something they want, is to go to sporting events.
And every family's going to be different on that. Some people will
Some families don't like to.
will be like, hey, nobody's going to the game kind of thing. It's.
What's weird is all of my things that I do now have almost exclusively gotten off Christmas Day. My family gets together the day after Christmas. Her family gets together on Christmas Eve. Christmas Day is almost exclusively
just you guys.
Which is crazy because I used to go 4 different places on Christmas.
Oh, gosh.
When my parents were divorced and I was a kid, we were at my dad's house in the morning. We would then go to between Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. We went to my great Uncle John's on Christmas Eve all night, lit the candles, did the whole thing at Brookside. Christmas morning at my dad's, Christmas midday at my mom's, and then we had to be my grandparents' Christmas afternoon. And then we'd go, oh, man. Oh, it was...
That sounds terrible.
It was a lot. So I'll tell you, I don't hate my plan now, which is just be at home while my kids have new, fresh things to entertain themselves. Does not sound like the worst thing of all time.
Someone from the 816 texting in saying the wife starts getting gifts on Amazon in the summer. The gifts are hidden in the closet for months now.
Amazon in the summer?
I mean, that's, good for you.
I don't want to hide them
Good for you. That's a long time to take up space.
What are we thinking budget-wise? What should I be spending per kid?
Everybody's going to.
Depends on what they want, I think. If they're asking for one. No. But I'm saying if they're asking for one thing that's as expensive as the other kid's 3 things, I think you're obliged to get. I think the kid who's asking for only one thing that's expensive, you're obliged to get one extra thing.
If it's like this year you're getting them the PS5, right? Or the Switch.
Yes. Everybody's answer is going to be different on this. I mean, that just depends on how many kids somebody has and all kinds of factors. But
I try to keep it to like $200-300. I feel like that's going to be almost impossible as they become teenagers and every single item costs like $100. I think it's going to be a lot harder to keep that budget, but I try to keep it to that range.
Yeah, buying stuff for 2 of my nephews now is so easy. So easy now, because they're now, they're getting it's not toys and stuff. It's now, it's a lot of it is just getting cards and cash. That's what they want. They want cards and they want cash.
From the 314 says, Cody, any updates on your son's love life? They're not in the same class. I feel like
it's over.
Fizzled. It's fizzled. He did lament one time this year where he felt like he was getting stuck in another situation where someone was trying to make him choose between 2 people. As in, he had 2 friends who said, I don't want you to play with that friend, and the other friend, vice versa for them. And he said, this is exactly what happened with her. I was like, it's all right, man.
Yeah.
It'll all sort itself out. But to this point, it appears that relationship has fizzled.
Back to the random questions. People were saying they have 6 daughters under the age of 12. I can't tell you how much money I spend every year.
6 daughters under the age of 12. Do you DoorDash? How the hell do you pay for it? I'll just tell you right now. I'm going to take the money from one of those UMKC checks and just be like, well, Christmas is bought.
There you go.
Like I'm going to take that part-time job money. I guess not real teaching based on what Miss Dugan had to say to me.
That's correct. Yeah,
if you guys missed last Friday, I couldn't believe it. I thought a fellow teacher would stand behind me. I said, am I a real teacher? She said, no.
Yeah, I thought she was completely spot on there, Cody.
It hurt. It hurt, Cold. I'm not going to lie. I think Drew was happy.
This is why you're not a real teacher.
This is why you're not a real teacher.
I think that this question's interesting. A question within the random question from the 816. From the 816, is it morally wrong to use a gift card I got as a gift to buy somebody a completely different Christmas present?
So, you're saying 6 months earlier it was your birthday, you got a $150 gift card to Target, and then you use that $150 gift card to buy a gift?
No, that's money.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, nothing wrong with that at all.
Good as cash.
Yeah.
If you gifted, now here's the thing. If you got a $50 gift card for your birthday and then just gave them the same $50 gift card, I actually say that would be out of bounds, don't you?
I agree. I think that's worse.
Right?
I agree.
I think somehow it's worse.
We just got a
You actually have to get something from it.
Yeah. Someone was responding to the gentleman that said he has 6 daughters under the age of 12.
Yeah.
And someone says, well, he clearly doesn't wrap the gifts.
Uh-oh.
It's a great text. It's a great text.
I don't know how. I honestly, and I come from a large family, I don't know how you do it.
How do you afford having 6 kids, is what you're saying?
Afford is one. 2 is you have to watch your kids more than you had to watch your kids in the 80s or 90s. So I think that creates a different dynamic of what it is like to have a bunch of kids. So that part, you can't just we fit in a car when we were kids Gold. We all rode in the back of the station wagon with no seatbelts on, or the bed of a truck. You know how many times I rode in the bed of a truck as a kid to get somewhere? You can't put a kid in the bed of the truck now. You can't live life like this. You can't even get all your kids to one place. You need a passenger van.
When's the last time you hopped in the back of a truck and just rode?
Rode somewhere?
Yeah.
Oh.
I did in July.
July? Oh, Outer Banks?
Yeah. Classic.
How far, though?
4 or 5 miles.
Oh, that's... It's been a long time since I did that. I don't know. Not teenage years, but like.
Are we sure Bink's not texting in from the 913? Gift giving is pointless. Basically
that is
exchanging
Bink's
money.
number. Yeah,
the older I get, the more I hate it.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That guy really doesn't like doesn't really like shopping for him.
No.
I see that.
What's crazy is this question happening is like we are about to turn to November. It's nuts. Like we're about to be at the end of the year. The end of the year is almost here.
Yeah, I just asked you a question about Christmas for the random.
Yeah, we're starting to see Christmas commercials start to flow in with
That's
snow and
2026.
Drew, was your mom a homemake your costume for Halloween type? I don't know why. I just felt like the Nixons might be they sewed their own costumes together. Family.
Yeah. It wasn't a go out. Yeah, we never went to like Spirit Halloween or anything like that. It was typically something that we either already had or she would make the costume.
Yeah, my parents, we didn't. Did you?
Maybe once.
Yeah.
Maybe twice.
We've made a couple over the years, but it's pretty like my daughter's costume this year is piecemealed like real clothes because of the character she is.
Okay.
So like we didn't make it, but it's also not like off the rack from like Spirit Halloween or Target or wherever.
Some of that stuff is crazy.
Somebody
expensive.
did have a suggestion for you, Cody, what you should dress up as on Friday.
Really? Yeah, what's your suggestion?
Yeah, somebody suggested you be Chauncey Billups because of the poker stuff that's going on.
Well, then what? I got to dress up as an FBI agent?
I guess in that case you would.
I would.
Sure. That would be a good. That'd be a really good. Costume for the both of you, like a costume set for the both of you. That'd be great.
That'd be more currently relevant than the number of people who are going to dress up like the Coldplay couple.
Yeah, that's been months.
That's ridiculous. That's
you
also
know that's
going
to be a pop because it's a lazy Halloween costume too.
Coldplay
All they got to do
easy,
is put on a quarter zip
and then just
hug each other.
Hug each other throughout the
You
night.
know?
I understand that, but this goes back to my original take on that. It's ridiculous that you feel obliged. Because I felt bad for them and everything. I know the whole situation is obviously not good.
They both did it to themselves.
I understand that. I understand that.
To them.
But you do not need to dress up as Halloween as those two individuals.
That's how societal
that's ridiculous.
That's
ridiculous.
Something that happens in a given year becomes. For that year, like 5 years from now, nobody's going to care about the Coldplay couple. But right now, for Halloween, it makes sense. I agree with Cody that like the actual current event thing, obviously Chauncey Billups is more relevant. But
I think in order to make the Chauncey Billups one really work, you got to figure out a way.
Someone says, "Gold, why the FBI agent? Couldn't you just be a member of the mafia instead in the costume?" An FBI agent is way easier. Way easier of a costume to go find.
You guys should both bring cards with you on Friday, and if you
that's
guys,
not my costume. I already have mine figured out for a remote. I already have it.
Yeah, you do.
It's also an easy costume, so it's also a pretty easy one, and I think it's relevant as well.
There you go.
That's
we'll see it out there in Blue Springs on Friday at Community America, where Alex and I have agreed to do it. I think there's going to be a lot of the same ones. The Coldplay couple, the Pope, but as a White Sox fan, will probably be a thing.
There'll be still a lot of Taylor and Travis in Kansas City.
A lot of,
right?
So much Travis and Taylor.
Yep.
I think will exist. So that's going to be there. I'm just trying to think about what other ones. Those are going to be the most popular.
I did see there were
just like the timely ones.
There was I don't know who. I think it was some sort of not sports analyst, but somebody and their wife were dressing up as.
Louvre Jewel Thief is also going to be massively popular.
You think? Even you think in the United States?
Some costume jewelry and a.
You think?
In this example, the lady dressed up as the number 6, and then the guy dressed up as the number 7.
6, 7.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And someone said maybe those two single-handedly will ruin the joke, and it'll just be over.
The second the parents get a hold of it, we can affect.
However, Xavier Worthy did celebrate that as a part of his touchdown, I believe.
And the fans responded back too. It was great. He was mic'd up talking about that.
All right, that's your random question of the day.
Up next, Josh Klingler. We'll find out what he's doing for Halloween. His kids are growing up now, though, but we'll find out if he's doing anything for Halloween, and we'll talk to him about this Chiefs performance and heading into another showdown with the Bills on Sunday.
This is Cody and Gold. Tune in for Nate Taylor every Tuesday at 1 o'clock, right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Cody and Gold are brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Good morning, Casey's Country. Darn Good Coffee's now 49 cents when you buy any breakfast sandwich or burrito. Some are calling it a great deal. I call it sensational. I'm so sorry. Bad joke. Good deal, though. It's not crazy. It's Casey's. See store for details.
Hey, Zach.
Are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbors' attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun. I'm switching.
Me too.
Yes, T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about?
T-Mobile's got home internet.
And Donald's got my weed whacker.
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month with auto pay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions. Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
Things are getting spooky in South Kansas City, but the deals at Rob Sight Ford, they're scary good. Rob Sight is with me. Hey, Rob, what's haunting the lot this month?
No tricks, just treats. From Broncos to Explorers to F-150s and commercial vehicles, we've got the inventory, the selection, and the lowest prices in Kansas City.
And no creepy sales tactics, just non-commissioned staff and real value.
Exactly. And while we're on the scary stuff, Kevin, your brisket from last weekend still haunts me.
Okay, dry rub shouldn't actually mean dry.
But here's the real flavor. KC's only top-rated Ford dealer on Google, 4.8 stars with nearly 3,000 reviews. Voted best car dealership in KC by Kansas City Magazine.
If you want simple, upfront, and easy, Rob Sight Ford is the treat you've been looking for. Visit 135th and State Line and buy right with Rob Sight.
Rob Sight Ford, ROBSIGHT.com. And Kevin, leave the cooking to us this Halloween.
If you're a man waking up in the middle of the night dealing with frequent urination, it could be an enlarged prostate. This is Jeff Montgomery. Do what I did. Contact Dr. Brown at Miva Medical, the leader in minimally invasive treatments in Kansas City. Go to miva-medical.com.
Get ready, Missouri. Kickoff is near. The world's largest sports book is coming to your fingertips. Circa Sports, it's sports betting the way it should be. With high and transparent app limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service. Start betting like a pro in Missouri on December 1st. Learn about your new bookie today at circasports.com. The world's largest sports book at your fingertips. Circa Sports launches December 1st.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WEBNOW1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Ready to kick off the fun? Chumba Casino is your go-to game plan. During halftime or overtime, from spinning slots to instant scratch-style cards, it's like running the perfect play, all from home. New players score a free welcome bonus and daily logins with a shot at some serious prizes every time you play. Get in the game and visit ChumbaCasino.com today. Let's Chumba. Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Jefferson's Wings, Burgers, and Oysters, located in Lenexa, North KC, Lawrence, Topeka, and Joplin.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
1 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Don't forget, on Wednesdays, our lunch partner, our friends over at Jefferson's. Congratulations to one of our listeners, by the way, taking home a $50 gift card. Each and every Wednesday, right around noon, we will obviously give you a chance to win a $50 gift card. But if you're looking for a place to watch some games, World Series continues tonight as well. Jefferson's, great daily specials, great happy hour. They got locations in Lenexa, North KC, Lawrence, Topeka, Joplin. Jefferson's Wings, Burgers, Oysters. Here in just a minute, we are going to be joined by Josh Klingler. The ghosts have destroyed our phones as well, so we're waiting. It's we've had a bad technical difficulty week.
I couldn't get my computer to work for like 45 minutes today. I was shopping for new ones.
Cody was about ready to buy a laptop very quickly, but no, your computer's fine. But yesterday we had the issues with the microphones and the
text line was weird.
Text line today, now the phones. It's been an interesting week, man. It's been an interesting week. Someone said, is there another one of those, what was it, like the cloud outage that we had? Like it was Amazon Web Service thing.
AWS.
If that was happening again, that might be the issue. Anyway, let's welcome in Josh Klingler, who will be on the sideline in Buffalo Sunday afternoon for the Chiefs Radio Network. You'll hear him right here on 96.5 The Fan. We were talking during the random question of the day, Kling, about Halloween. Now, your kids are both out of the house now, right? Or at least at college at this point, is that right?
Correct.
Okay,
yeah.
So do you even mess with Halloween anymore?
Well, we discussed it, and I thought, well, we're going to be home Friday. I don't want to sit in the house and not have the light on, so we're going to pass out candy, but we'll see. I bought extra just so I'd have something to eat. So
what's the
I'm hoping it pays off.
What's the busyness? You sound not excited about it at all. What's the busyness level of your neighborhood, trick-or-treating wise? I feel like it's all gone down since trick-or-treating existed.
Yeah, it really has. It's really hit and miss. There was one year I know, my daughter and her friends were like, we're just going to stay here and hand out candy, and they were so excited. It was a couple of years ago, and they were like, this was so boring. No kids came by, and it was really kind of slow. So we'll see. If not, I don't mind eating leftover candy. I think that's right in my wheelhouse.
Kling, what do you make about the signing the Chiefs are going to make of Mike Pennell? Look, I know that they haven't made it official. Blair Kirkhoff a minute ago said, no word from the Chiefs on Mike Pennell, but his jersey is hanging with gear in the locker room. So I'm going to take that as a sign as Mike Pennell is a Chief, and it's not just happenstance. He came to visit a day after getting cut. How much do they need kind of just defensive line depth? What do you think he adds to the team?
Well, I think he had familiarity. Look, they wanted him to be a part of the team at the end of training camp, and I think he kind of ran into that veteran that you could manipulate in terms of contract, and wanted to bring him back to the practice squad and probably do the elevation every week kind of thing. And for whatever reason, that didn't work out, and he kind of went and did the same thing in Cincinnati. And so, I think he gets the drill, right? So he's going to come here. He's going to play limited amount of snaps, but has a definitive role every time he's been here, and has come up with some big plays in short bursts. So it feels like the familiarity aspect, which is big for the Chiefs. I think if they're not familiar with you, if we've seen this over and over and over again, it's hard to create a role for you. I don't know whether it's just what they do being a little more difficult or their unwillingness. I don't know where that line is, but clearly if you come in, mid-season, they're going to have a hard time finding a main role for you, right? So might as well bring a guy back that has familiarity, that's had some success in your defense before.
The other roster part to keep an eye on as well, other than Josh Simmons, is the injury to Isaiah Pacheco, where it sure feels like he's not going to play on Sunday, and they might use the bye week to make sure that knee is right for him. What do you think that does for the backfield, not only with Elijah Mitchell, who's been inactive, but I like the role they have Kareem Hunt right now. He's very effective in short yards. I'm a little concerned if they try to ask him to do more, does that have a trickle-down effect that hurts everything else that's been working right?
Well, would we have a problem if they asked Rashard Smith to do more?
I hope so. I hope that's what happens.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would maybe envision you can't keep Kareem Hunt in his same role, but do you ask him to do an extra drive, and then you use more Rashard Smith? I think that's probably a possibility. Can you even imagine Elijah Mitchell factoring into the situation at this point in time? I would say no. He's been inactive every week. So is it two back this week and try to get by? Maybe. But yeah, I'd like to see that scenario where you add a little bit more to Kareem Hunt, and then you add maybe a bunch more for Rashard Smith for a week and see how it goes. Pacheco was lobbying to go back in the other day, guys. Like he was on the medical table. They checked out the knee. They gave him the thumbs up. He kind of jumped up and grabbed the helmet and was lobbying, Coach Reed to go back in. And I think they kind of said, the game's out of reach. Let's back you off. And he kind of said, yeah, okay. And then I saw him in the locker room and he didn't look down or anything like, this is going to be anything, but obviously, maybe further medical tests or the next morning it felt a little bit different. And now maybe it's a week-to-week thing. So certainly didn't look at all that serious at the time, and he didn't treat it as such. So hopefully it's shorter rather than longer. But it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to give him a breather. You want those two guys as fresh as possible later on in the season, not end of October.
I think one of the other ways they can do it, Kling, and it's not being discussed quite as much as they'll just hand the ball off to Worthy or Rashee Rice.
Rashee Rice is a massive part of, and they've shown a little bit of that, and I think that you're just scratching the surface of what he can do too. So yeah, I think they almost would probably scheme around it. Not to say you wouldn't activate another running back, but you'd maybe just have an emergency extra running back and scheme around it for a week.
How do you feel about this matchup versus the Bills versus previous years? I feel like this is one of the more confident I've been going into it. I know that doesn't make sense based on record, and it's not that the Bills are a bad team. They just don't feel as scary or as dominant as they've been in previous years, and it might just be because the Chiefs, Kling, are playing excellent football right now and blowing opponents out. Where are you with this matchup on Sunday?
Yeah, I think it's both. I think the Bills look a little susceptible. Certainly, I mean, they're going back to the well defensively too, right?
They just lost the defensive lineman.
Former players to come back. The Ed Oliver injury is a big one for them, and their ability to get after the quarterback a little bit. I don't know how good they are in the secondary. So I think defensively they look like they're, not quite maybe as imposing as they've been in other years. You still have Josh Allen and James Cook to think about. That's still a handful matchup, I think, for the Chiefs defense. But I'm with you. I'm probably more confident in this one than I have been in other matchups because it just feels like the Chiefs are, pick your poison. How are you going to defend this team, right? They seemingly, you did the one thing you could do to them, and that was get them to turn the football over, but you didn't score points on it last week. And then at halftime, they decided to, put fuel in the engine and blow you away. So offensively, they look like they just have too many things to try to slow down. And then what can you say about the defense? It's just slammed the door on people since the Jacksonville game, right? And seemingly have kind of turned the corner and said, we're not doing this anymore. And so, yeah, I'm really confident heading into this one. Maybe that's a bad thing, be so confident heading into this matchup. But the Chiefs also need this game, too. I mean, you guys have been talking about it. This next stretch of games is pretty huge if you're thinking about, well, one, you got to win the division, right? Don't put yourself in a position to have to still get a playoff spot. Go win the division. So you got some things to do before you can get to that point. And this next stretch of games will probably go a long way to determining, how much you're scrambling at the end.
Kling, like a lot of us in Kansas City, you've covered the entire Andy Reid era. He can say all he wants a couple of weeks ago that they're always this aggressive. They aren't, and they are now. And we have been, I think, all as a community advocating for it for years. What do you make of the new look Andy Reid in the aggressiveness department?
Well, I like the fact that there's almost no question. Like, I stand, obviously, on the sidelines. Usually the special teams guys are warming up behind me. So it's the specialists, right? Winchester and Ariza and Butker are all warming up behind me. And, a lot of times they'll be, kind of almost jumping in front of me, ready to go in, right? And now there's like well, the offense is out there and Pat's calling for a play. So, like, we'll just hang back. I thought for sure they were kicking a field goal the other day.
On the 4th and 3 one, that was the one I was like, I couldn't believe he went for it. I couldn't remember another time Andy went for a play like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's like 95% he's putting the points on the board and kicking the field goal. So it's seemingly like a change of identity. The willingness, well, they've had success doing it too, right? And it's not just short yardage. They can kind of do whatever. I just think there's just so much confidence in this offense. And then I think backed up by the confidence in the defense. Like, okay, if you put the defense in a spot, well, is it the worst thing in the world if you're putting them in a spot at the 3-yard line defensively? No, probably not. So why not roll the dice a few more times? But I think it's their lack of indecision on it. They're just going and not, taking the time and maybe letting the clock run down and taking a timeout and deciding whether or not you're going to do it. It's been kind of, from what I've seen operationally, we're going right now, and here's the play. Let's go.
We're talking to Josh Klingler here on 96.5 The Fan. You'll hear him on the Chiefs radio network here on The Fan Sunday afternoon when the Chiefs take on the Buffalo Bills. He joins us each and every Wednesday here on Cody and Gold. The trade deadline will happen before we talk to you again. Do you think we're going to be sitting here after Tuesday at 3 o'clock that the Chiefs make a move or two?
I mean, who's available. I mean, I think it really largely depends on who's available. I still think defensive line, you could try to find something that would make sense at either end or tackle and try to boost that spot. I don't know where else you're really looking. I still don't think running back, has not made sense to me for several weeks based on the way they use their current running backs. Now, would you like there to be a more dynamic look in that regard? Maybe eventually, yes. But for this season, I feel like they're set at that spot. So to me, unless there's some other weird, injury they need to cover for, I guess I would still be looking at defensive line and probably defensive line only. I don't know if you get any takers for some of the stuff they have to maybe acquire, draft picks. I don't know how viable any of that is. But I think I would say defensive line, and that's probably about all you'd need to be looking at this point.
I got to say, I feel like there's a chance, or at least a decent chance, that somebody comes calling about their corners. Like, they have healthy scratches from Christian Fulton, who was a target of a bunch of teams in the NFL. Joshua Williams' name has come up before. Like, Kling, I think it might be they ship one defensive lineman out, but I think there's a chance one corner leaves.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get a taker, I think you're all for it. I've always been in the camp of you can never have too many corners, and when you think you have enough, then you run into problems. So I'm always like, I'm all in favor of stockpiling corners, but it'd usually be like younger corners, right? Plus they have like the Kevin Knowles kid that's been brought up a couple times, and they seemingly like him. He plays on special teams as well. So it does feel like that they're in a spot of being able to move from that. If you're talking about those two specific guys that are, don't really have a role in Fulton, albeit they like Williams on special teams, but he doesn't have as much of a role defensively. So something like that, if a team came calling, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you listen?
I guess from the next 3-game perspective, obviously no one's going to have a more difficult 3-game stretch. At Buffalo, at Denver, at home versus the current AFC leaders, Indianapolis. Rank those games in importance for the Chiefs. What do you think is the most and least important?
I think at this stage, Denver is probably the most important.
I agree.
Secondarily, Buffalo from like a fan talk psyche perspective.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Like Buffalo's still the rival. Whoever else is rising in the AFC, we all expect Buffalo will be a team you have to contend with in the postseason. And then probably the Colts after that. And that's no disrespect to what they're doing. Are they for real? I don't know. I just look at the quarterback matchup. Like, come on, like, you know what I mean? Like, we still look at quarterback matchups, right? And you can't tell me that's anywhere close to the same stratosphere when that game comes up. Granted, they do some other things you're going to have to contend with in the run game, obviously, but you still get coach quarterback, and you're like, come on, is that? So that's number 3 for me. Maybe in a couple weeks when it's the biggest game in the NFL, we'll have a different answer. But for now, it's probably Denver the most important because you got to chase down the division. You can't let them out too far, and then Buffalo for the mental aspect.
Josh Klingler, appreciate it, man. We'll be listening Sunday afternoon right here on The Fan.
I was also told no snow in Buffalo, so I'm all about it.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, we thought it said like 50 degrees, which is not bad.
Yeah, I'll take it.
There you go. Kling will be on the sideline there for what maybe is the last time in that stadium. We'll see if the Chiefs have to go back there in the playoffs, but otherwise
It's either the last or the second to last time, yeah.
So it wouldn't be bad if the Chiefs want to get one, maybe have to get two. Hopefully, only have to get one wins in Buffalo before they move to a different stadium. That I still think look, I want the Chiefs to be at home in the playoffs, but if you told me somehow it worked out seeding wise where the Chiefs had to go to Buffalo, an AFC title game, and the last game in their building is a win for the Chiefs to end out that building and to once again prevent them from going to Super Bowl. That would be that again. That's the spoiled thing. I'll take whatever path it takes.
Yeah, that's the movie ending for sure. I will say, it's like that seems like an unlikely scenario. I did hear Patrick Mahomes. Did you hear him in the thing earlier? He said he likes to go to historic football stadiums. Did make me for a second be like, hey, Arrowhead, this where we at stadium?
He said he likes to go to.
Not just like live
I'm just kidding.
He was asked about Buffalo in particular.
He was.
But he said he likes to go to historic stadiums. He said that's specifically what he said.
I think the question was originally around, going to Buffalo. You've had a lot of success going there. He's like, oh yeah, I like going to historic stadiums. They don't like us as
that was
Bills
a great
fans.
He's like, they do not like us. We show up and they are mad. Well, they shouldn't like you.
Honestly, Bills fans are some of the worst, and I think we should have documented this a little bit more between the throwing the snowballs at Pat to trying to grab Lamar Jackson earlier in the season. Like, guys, calm down and just stick to what you do, jumping on the tables, and just keep your hands to yourself.
I will say, I always try to think about it from like a different fan base perspective, because my initial instinct when somebody happened to share a video of a Bills fan putting like their newborn baby through like a cardboard table they had built that said Bills, right? So like, and then I was like, I don't know, man, if the Chiefs fans had that tradition, I know some Chiefs fans would be putting their baby through a cardboard table. So like,
Sure, of course.
Like, so I shouldn't pretend that that's where my issue is, but you're right. Mostly it's like behave in the stands. That's usually my thing. Don't throw snowballs or don't try to attack or bottles. Yeah, be smart about at least that. I had mentioned the thing that we had talked about with him earlier in the show, the aggressiveness from Andy Reid. That 4th down and 3rd, I swear, and it's not like I've gone through every play of Andy Reid's career. I've watched every game Andy Reid has coached in Kansas City. I cannot think of a single instance, unless it was the 4th quarter in a must-go-for-it situation, that Andy Reid went for a 4th and 3 for the touchdown there instead of kicking the field goal, and the entire time he's been the coach here. That points to a different level of aggressiveness. Before we even talk about the fact that they're good at it.
Yeah, that's
I just like that they're great at it. I just like that they're going for it in general. It just turns out, in addition to that, Gold, they're awesome.
Yeah, I love it. And by the way, you love it even more because it's working, but also you could tell me on Sunday the Chiefs go for 2 4th downs in a row and they miss it. It still is the correct decision, and I like it, in the exact example we're giving, right? This is what we've been asking for years. The Chiefs have 10 4th down conversions already. No team since at least 2000 has had that many conversions in the first 8 weeks.
What's crazy about that is like not even the Lions when they were just going for like a billion in a row.
No, it felt like it, but nope, not in the first 8 weeks or 8 games. The Eagles 9 in 2024 and 9 in 2022. So that's a team that has the tush push. The Chiefs aren't doing any QB sneaks, let alone a tush push. Kareem Hunt's been effective in short yardage, and then if it's not the handoff to Kareem Hunt, it's the quick bootleg action. It's almost like what do you call it? Not jet ship wasp. Oh my gosh, what's the? It's almost corn
dog.
Corn dog.
Yeah. Look, the thing that stands out to me is I've just never. I don't know. What I want to know is what changed for Andy. My thought is that it was the Jags game. They were up 14-0. It pushed them in a really difficult spot schedule-wise, difficult spot for the division, crazy hard spot for the 1 seed. He's like, all right, that's it. No more. I'm not letting these teams back in it. We're burying teams now. Like the Washington one, that 4th and 3 was about burying a team, not about like trying to play keep away, which they do a lot, or trying to keep them at arm's length, which they've done a lot in the last couple of years. Something changed. We have a massive amount of historical data to point out that Andy Reid is one of the least aggressive coaches on 4th down in kicking situations. And a lot of people are just saying some of this is about their lack of confidence in Harrison Butker.
I think it's all part of the equation.
It might be a part of it.
Yeah, I think it's a small piece of the pie. I disagree with this text from someone says part of the reason why that stat you guys bring up is it means the Chiefs are not getting where they need to go on downs 1 through 3. Look, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but Yeah, I would also like an offense that never gets fourth downs and just scores on every single drive without having to convert a fourth down conversion.
And just complete the first down.
I don't know
first 2 downs, you know?
I don't know how realistic that is. I mean, if we're saying like, well, it's because they have to go for so many fourth. No, that would be the bad teams. That'd be like when we looked up earlier. The Jets are going for more attempts. Yeah, and that's it. The Chiefs are top 10 in the league in fourth down attempts, in fairness. But typically that's a bad, if you look at the other teams, usually that is bad teams like having to go for. The Chiefs are going for fourth because they frankly are in a spot where they can.
I think you can take that though and flip it into the reason they're able to go for that many is because it's 4th and 1, 4th and 2, and not 4th and 6 or 7 or 8.
That's what the Eagles did for years. I don't know why we can't
get. It's not 4th and 5.
If it's 3rd and 2, and you know you are a team that goes for it now, the risk you can take on 3rd and 2 becomes exponential. You can send the ball down the field on a jump ball situation. You can throw a back shoulder. You can run a more.
You can run on a 3rd and 5.
You can run plays where all the route. Yeah, you can run on a 3rd and 5. If you know you're going to go for it, you sometimes handle, and a lot of the good teams who go for it do, you handle it in a way that allows you the ability that you're like, oh, screw it. I'm going to go for a 4th or 1 and 2 anyway. I'll try to get the first. It's not I'm trying to not get it on 3rd, but I know I got 4 downs to get it, so I don't care.
And this, we maybe can get into this deeper tomorrow, but Ben Baldwin, you know, who we've referenced on the show before, the Twitter account that does a good job putting out some of these cool graphs and things like that. Not to get too nerdy with it, but basically he had one today, which was how often teams avoid doing what he called the dumb thing, but basically calling a run play on 2nd and long. You know, because that's always annoying. It's like it's 2nd and 13, and you're like, what are you doing? Well, not this year. He doesn't see this is the thing. How often teams avoid it?
Just took a huge shift this year.
Everything shifted. The only teams that avoid the 2nd and long run more than the Chiefs, the Chargers and the Colts. The Chiefs do it the third least, or the third least in the NFL. The team that does it the most runs on 2nd and long.
Cincinnati?
No. I
would say that's not a surprise.
No, the Jets, the Lions, the Jags, the Texans,
Lions,
the Titans, the Raiders, the Browns, the Giants. Typically all crappy teams. The Lions are the one that makes most sense.
No, that's the only oddball. But when you got running backs like them, maybe you can do it.
And O-line,
By the way, Mike Pinnell's agent has officially tweeted out that he signed with the team.
Well,
I am now looking at a photo from Arleigh Campbell of Mike Pinnell in a Chiefs jersey at practice today.
They're going to send out a tweet after practice.
Is there some reason why Andy couldn't say that Mike Pinnell was with the team? The man's at practice.
He said he was locked into the game plan. You know, he was locked in.
He's in a jersey.
They will send out a photo with he's back, Mike's back here very, very soon, but it is pretty fun.
That man's in a jersey. Like Mike Pinnell back with the Chiefs. It's honestly, it is. I'm not claiming this to be some home run signing. It's a perfect signing. They needed interior defensive line help, specifically in the run stopping department.
It's what they do.
I just described Mike Pinnell's entire career.
It's what the Chiefs do. McCole Hardman, Mike Pinnell.
Oh, they love guys.
You can run down the list.
And of course, in hindsight, they should probably never have let Mike Pinnell go. Let's be real, right?
Sure.
But at least this time they did not have to give up a draft pick to get that player back, like they did for Derek Nottie, who has not had a great 2025.
The Bengals should have held him hostage. You mean like you want him back? You know, you got to give us one of your.
But again, what were you going to get? It's weird. He's a role player. Like you weren't going to get anything. Like everybody's excited. Everybody's excited. Mike Pinnell's back because he's a good dude. Locker room likes him. He's effective in his limited role and all that. But you're not, in the world of draft value, it's you're conditional 7th. Like
yes.
He's got to be feeling a lot better. Joe Flacco's now super doubtful for Sunday with
the
AC shoulder joint injury.
Well, Jake Browning's good to go if that's the case.
At the very least, the Bengals could have gotten a conditional 7th that they can mess up too. They go just give them something.
Yeah. More shots, man, means more chances to actually find good players. I saw the target
problem
list.
is, Cody, they can't. Historically, they can't.
They also spend less resources in it. They're bad at it because they don't spend the money to do it.
We don't need to get into a deeper conversation, but like we've essentially hinted at it, like they are historically not a well-run franchise. I mean, that's just the facts.
I know. Someone said he was there to just get secrets. They aren't good enough to get secrets from you.
Obviously, what has changed for them in recent history is they have Joe Burrow. When he's on the field, he's awesome. Like that's what's changed. Oh, they're the same organization. Other than that,
it's got Joe Burrow, so they mattered more.
And obviously, Jamar Chase is incredible.
I would take Marvin Lewis back in a heartbeat.
Would you?
Yes,
man.
Yes.
Wow, that's how down you are right now on Zach Taylor and everything.
Without Ben Roethlisberger,
yeah,
Mike Tomlin is Marvin Lewis. When we talk about how great Mike Tomlin is, I think Marvin Lewis. Yeah. Anyways.
Up next, we'll get to what's trending. And then earlier today, Ross Tucker, our Odyssey NFL insider, joined us. We asked him about that aggressiveness. We also discussed a little bit about Daniel Jones and what is he seeing from him and the belief in him moving forward.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Trent McDuffie. You're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
More than a few of our patients have talked to me about their first time, but it's not the first time you're probably thinking about. It's the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined the moment. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're over 50, it's likely that you've had that first time yourself. But the good news is that if you're like most men, that first time can be the last time that ED impacts your sex life. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men using protocols with success rates well over 90%. And those treatments have, in most cases, made sex great again for both them and their partners. You could even find that you're performing like you haven't in years. So if ED has been affecting your intimacy, it's time to make the last time that happens the last time that happens. For just $99, you'll receive blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
DQ presents the sound of your next meal at DQ. It's the sound of savoring a signature stack burger, loving a chicken strip basket, or digging into everyday value with the $7 meal deal. Wait, where is the sound? Am I missing something? Oh, it's quiet because they're too busy enjoying their DQ food. Makes sense. So delicious and so peaceful. Grab your favorite from the DQ food menu today at participating U.S. locations. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/Royal Rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
The NBA is back. It's NBA tip-off week, and FanDuel is your home for live betting. So even if you miss tip-off or you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything. For who's going to score next to a fourth quarter comeback. You can even combine your bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at an even bigger payout, however you want to play. Now is the perfect time to join. FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 wager wins. So all you need to do is visit FanDuel.com. Use my promo code KFNZ to sign up today. Fall is here, so celebrate the return of basketball season with our friends over at FanDuel. Play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issue. Non-withdrawal bonus bet expires 7 days on street. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem. Get up with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
Hey, Zach. Are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbor's attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun.
I'm switching. Me too.
Yes, T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about?
T-Mobile's got home internet.
And Donald's got my weed whacker.
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month with auto pay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions.
At Straight Talk, we know the holidays are your time to say
yes.
So why put up with a wireless company that makes you say
out of data?
Or
no service here?
Switch to Straight Talk and say yes to real unlimited data on a reliable 5G network covered by Verizon. And with a free 5G phone when you activate select plans, someone else in your family can say yes! Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Based on RootMetrics State of 5G Report, United States 1H 2025. Experiences may vary. Not an endorsement of Verizon. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Febreze. It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades. Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Paid for by term provider. Premiums will vary. Plans depend on age, location, and other factors. Visit bigloot.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-555-1509. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-555-1509. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-555-1509. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-555-1509 or biglou.com.
Brought to you by Gomer's. 5 locations in the KC Metro or online at gomers.com.
Want to know something scary good? Gomer's is scary good. They've been voted the #1 KC liquor shop since the beginning of voting for KC liquor stores. Really, Gomer's Fine Wines and Liquors. 5 locations and family owned since 1969.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. What's trending?
What's Trending is brought to you by Telly Tire and Auto Centers. Winning starts with a great drive. Since 1942, Telly's certified techs have delivered complete car care with top brand tires and expert auto service. Keep your drive going. Take it to Telly. Visit tellytire.com today.
Number 1 on What's Trending, we heard from Andy Reid around noon today, 11:45 noon, and that was that Trey Smith will be practicing today, so hopefully he can follow it up with a practice tomorrow. Remember, he missed last week with lower back injury, back spasms.
So he's going to give it a whirl.
Yeah,
Andy
so good sign. Hopefully that goes well. Hollywood Brown not practicing today. He's sick. And then, obviously, Josh Simmons not there. Mike Pennell is. Mike Pennell, according to his agent, has signed with the Chiefs, and also according to his presence at practice, he's signed with the Chiefs.
Of course, Nate Taylor sent out a clip of him and Chris Jones immediately goofing around together. You might remember a couple of weeks ago, Chris Jones had said they got to get their guy Mike Pennell back. Mission accomplished, Chris Jones. Mission accomplished. Next up on What's Trending, World Series Game 4 was last night. Series tied up at 2-2 apiece. Shohei Ohtani got roughed up for 4 runs. It was really a tough 6th inning that got him in trouble, and a 2-run Vladdy homer earlier in the game that was eventually their undoing. We got a real series there in Toronto. Obviously, one more game in LA, and then 2 more games heading back to Toronto. We're getting to at least Game 6 of the World Series, no matter what. They did pitch to Shohei Ohtani last night, which I wasn't sure they were going to do. It was a good game up until that 6th inning. It was tight. Obviously, the Dodgers coming up short, but good series so far.
Aiden Hutchinson, defensive lineman for the Lions, signing a 4-year, $180 million deal, $140 million of which is fully guaranteed. He's coming off an ACL injury. He's already off to a very nice start here in 2025, and so they lock up one of the better defensive linemen in the NFL.
According to reports, a couple of moves around the NFL. Bengals quarterback Joe Flacco's availability for Sunday is in doubt due to an AC joint shoulder injury. That according to Zach Taylor. Obviously, Jake Browning would start if Joe Flacco is unable to go. He's done a really good job. And there, man, I saw the stats. Targets in the month of October. Jamar Chase has like 68 targets in the month of October. The next closest is Ladd McConkey at 41. So if you're just curious, the target share that is currently happening in Cincinnati, it's a bit one-sided. Also, the Denver Broncos are signing 41-year-old tight end Mercedes Lewis to the practice squad. I want to remind you, he was in the same draft as Maurice Jones-Drew. So they like him for a blocking tight end. They've just had issues with their tight ends. The Evan Ingram sighting hasn't even gone quite to the way they wanted it so far.
That's what's trending. Here on Cody and Gold. Earlier today, Ross Tucker, our Odyssey NFL insider, joined us. We started our conversation asking him about that Aiden Hutchinson contract. And, George Karlaftis got his deal. We were looking at the value of it and even some of the pacing stats that might surprise you. Not as far off from one another, at least through 8 weeks of the season. And, yeah, I'm not saying that George Karlaftis is going to be a defensive player of the year like Aiden Hutchinson might be, but it was kind of interesting, and that's how we started our conversation.
Yeah, and I can't believe you're saying Karlaftis is better than
We're just saying that some of the stats this year are comparable.
I love that you said that because I joked exactly about that with Cody during the break. I said, we're going to have this discussion later, and I'm going to say that, and immediately someone's going to text into the show and say, so you're saying he's better than Aiden Hutchinson? So thank you for giving me a preview of the text line.
First of all, I'm a huge Karlaftis guy. And they actually do have some similarities in the sense that I think that they are very good athletes. I don't think that they are elite athletes. I don't think they are, Myles Garrett or a Micah Parsons in terms of get off and ability to bend. What I love about those guys is they're so good with their hands. They rush with a lot of power and just absolutely relentless. And so I think that's something that anybody can appreciate. And by the way, so is Micah Parsons and Myles Garrett. Those guys are nonstop too. But it really jumps out when you watch. Even like Monday night, the one play in the run game where Karlaftis slanted inside and then he redirected to be able to chase down a run to the outside. I've always appreciated that game. I think I probably told you guys before. I called Karlaftis' game in the U.S. Army Bowl when he was still in high school, and had a chance to talk to him then. So it's kind of cool just to, meet a kid in high school, and now he's in whatever he is in the NFL and playing at a high level. I thought that was, refresh my memory, he was a pretty late first-round pick, right?
Yeah, he was in the 30s, 31, or maybe it was like in the high 20s or low 20s because they traded up. It was that same year as that Trent McDuffie deal, 28.
Excellent pick by Veach at that spot. To get a guy like him at that spot, that is awesome. Hutchinson, after that serious injury last year, I didn't think it made sense to do the deal before the season, really for either party, but he's come out and been awesome. And so because of that, I think that they wanted to reward him now, realizing it's probably only just going to go up.
You had mentioned Myles Garrett. Since you're a former player, I'll ask you real quick because it's interesting to talk about on the show. He's got the 5 sacks on Sunday. He was a dominant player. His team is miserable. They got blown out anyway. I find myself not feeling bad for Myles Garrett at all. He didn't have to sign with the Browns. He knew what he was getting in for. That's been the worst franchise in football the last 30 years. I don't feel bad for great players being on bad teams if they made the choice.
Well, that's exactly right, because he did make the choice multiple times. So, yes, he was at one point, picked by them number 1 overall, but he signed multiple contracts there. The other thing is, as bad as the Browns are now, okay, they did win a playoff game in 2020, and they were in the playoffs 2 years ago.
That's crazy.
So it's not like, there have been other organizations that have been worse than that or down worse. He's made the playoffs 2 out of the last 5 years. That, cry me a river. I played with Takeo Spikes, one of the best players I ever played with. Takeo played 15 years, never made the playoffs one time.
Oh.
And he ended up playing on some good teams. Like, he was on the Eagles the one year they didn't make the playoffs. He was on with us in Buffalo 2004, which was supposedly the one of the best teams to never make the playoffs according to the statistics. So, I have no sympathy whatsoever for Myles Garrett. However, I will say I am incredibly impressed by guys like him. Some of the guys that I think are most impressive in the NFL would be like a Myles Garrett, a Max Crosby, Jeffrey Simmons. These guys that are on clearly bad teams that are not going anywhere and haven't for a few years, and they are double teamed often, and yet they lace it up every single week and bring it. That I got a lot of respect for those guys.
We're talking to Ross Tucker, our Odyssey NFL insider here on 96.5 The Fan. For multiple weeks now, we've been asking you about this offense who clearly looks like they're back. And the other element of it now is this fourth down aggressiveness that we really haven't seen from Andy Reid before, even with Patrick Mahomes. We were just discussing it to start our show today, that Andy Reid has kind of figured out that he has a cheat code, which is make a defense stop you 4 times when you have Patrick Mahomes and all these weapons. And the Chiefs have converted 10 fourth downs so far this year, which is the most through 8 games since at least 2000.
I guess the one question would be to Andy, like, what took you so long?
I know. We've been asking for years, but you know what? I'm just going to be happy about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, the reality is, though, there's a lot of underlying statistics and metrics that will tell you that it is advantageous to go for it in a lot of these fourth down situations. What's interesting is that those numbers are primarily based upon, like, the average across the league. Well, when you have Mahomes and Travis Kelce, but especially Mahomes, you are way above the average. So they should actually be way more likely to go for it on those downs, on those situations, because their percentage will clearly be higher than the other teams that they're going against.
When you look at, like, I guess, Travis, you mentioned his season. He has statistically been good as any tight end in the league. You know, Tyler Warren's been talked about everywhere. He has as many yards, as many touchdowns, as many catches as a guy like that. Has his season nationally been a little undersold, considering the fact that he's doing it at his age?
I think it probably has. I mean, and like we've been saying for a couple years now, Travis Kelce just doesn't get enough attention. You know, he just doesn't get enough.
Yeah. That's only getting worse, you know.
He's really gone under the radar these last couple of years. I forgot he played for the Chiefs. No, I mean, it is kind of funny that maybe some of the other stuff has overshadowed what he's doing. I'll tell you this much. I don't know if you guys have, like, the GPS stats or whatever, and maybe, you know, you can pull them up. I thought when they kept him in for pass pro, and then he leaked out and was a late check down for Patrick on the one, I thought he was looking pretty darn fast running down the sideline. I was like, man, I mean, you know, they had told me, I would say well-placed sources had told me that, you know, Travis was running as fast as he had in a while, and that, you know, the GPS numbers backed that up. And, man, that was clearly the case I thought on that one catch against the Commanders. I mean, I don't know if he's lost weight or if he just the training, but he looked faster to me than he has in a while.
100% with you. Yeah, that was, I think at one point in the offseason, there was a report he had lost like 20-something pounds, and he talked about it, and he's like, well, not quite 20 pounds, but he definitely lost some weight in the offseason, and it's obviously paying off for him so far in 2025. Ross, the Chiefs get the Bills again. We've had you on for years. We've been doing this whole thing for years now with Chiefs-Bills like seemingly twice a year, and this go-around, I wonder if you've talked to anybody in Buffalo yet about this game, because, and we're going to have some guests on later in the week, where the Bills have won these regular season matchups at a decent clip, but we all know they haven't won in the postseason. We know it's Super Bowl or bust for them. It's Super Bowl or bust in Kansas City. I wonder, have Bills fans, do you think at this point in time, recognize that, like, this game on Sunday, it matters for divisional and 1 seed, but they have to know at this point, like, beat the Chiefs on Sunday, it really doesn't mean anything.
Well, you are in luck, because I go on in Buffalo every Tuesday afternoon. So I already know what they think. Number one, there's some consternation right now, because even though the Bills beat the Panthers by a lot, you know, they haven't really looked as good in the passing game or maybe on defense over the last month or so. And now they lost their best defensive lineman, Ed Oliver, likely for the season. So there's some consternation there. And then you add to that the Chiefs' offense looking better than it has in a really long time. And now you've got a concerned fan base. You know, it's funny, because you're either a glass half full or glass half empty person. And so if the Bills beat the Chiefs, you can look at it and say, love it. We needed to prove that. All those things. If you lose, certainly there's going to be Bills fans, the positive ones, that'll say, hey, that just gives us a better chance to actually beat them in the playoffs, which I don't know if that's true or not, but it does feel – I know you guys have the numbers. I know the Bills have never beaten the Chiefs in the playoffs. My recollection is that the Chiefs have only beaten the Bills one time in the regular season.
Correct.
I might be wrong. So I don't know. I kind of almost to the point now where I feel like, I know somebody's recording these segments somewhere, and we should just replay it every year, WGR in Buffalo, 5 p.m. on Tuesday of Chiefs Week, and 11:30 a.m. Eastern, 10:30 Central on Wednesday of Bills Week in Kansas City, because the conversation is seemingly very, very similar. And I feel like that's rare in the NFL to have this long of an extended rivalry, extended series. You can probably count them on one hand. What other – on some level, it takes me back to like Steve Young, Troy Aikman, but were they playing each other in the regular season every year? Certainly Brady and Manning when I was playing in the 2000s. That one is the most similar, but feels like these guys, from a pure number of games and time situation, might end up being the longest.
It's starting to feel more like an NBA one, Ross. It's more like Magic and Bird, like where we just see them up against each other so often that you can't ignore the fact. And they do seemingly both play big-time games against each other. That's the part that always stands out against me. You usually get their best. On the Bills' defensive end, I do want to ask, they were kind of mediocre anyway. How much worse are they without Ed Oliver in your mind?
Well, he's by far their best D tackle. Now, they did get a couple guys off suspension, Ogunjobi and Michael Hoyt, and Hoyt was all over the place on Sunday. He had a sack and a half. He looked awesome. So maybe he can provide the spark that they need. I think they're holding out hope that Oliver can play in the playoffs. It's interesting. I'm with you on Bird and Magic. I think it's more of the Brady Manning thing.
Sure.
Because it's been so one-sided in the postseason. And, finally, Peyton Manning in 2006, was able to break through. And I feel like, I thought maybe that was the case with Josh Allen and the Bills last year. It didn't happen. Maybe this year will be the case.
Speaking of other quarterbacks in the league, what do you make of, let's take the team out of it for a minute. When you watch Daniel Jones play, what do you make about his play individually? Chiefs got him in a couple of weeks. We'll talk to you more about them then, but we kept waiting for the shoe to drop. I'm done there. I believe in the Colts. I think they're a very good team, but specifically his play, what is Daniel Jones doing so well?
Well, he's really just operating the offense. You know what he reminds me of and they remind me of? He reminds me a lot right now of Jared Goff and the Lions a couple years ago. Remember, the first year for Dan Campbell and Jared Goff, it really wasn't that great. And then the second year they got off to like a slow start, and all of a sudden it's like, holy cow, the Lions, they can't really be this good, right? And you kept saying that. Next thing you know, they're just that good, and they're in, the NFC Championship game against the Niners, a couple years ago. That's what the Colts feel like to me. People aren't going to really buy in until they play some tougher opponents and, see if they have postseason success. But Jones is playing like Goff, and kind of like Goff. They probably have the best O-line in the league. They definitely this year have the best running back in the league. They are really operating on all cylinders right now, and they have by far the best point differential in the NFL. Interestingly, the Chiefs with 3 losses are second.
Yeah. Some of the numbers around the Chiefs are kind of staggering to see. There's some that are expected, and then there's some other ones that I think surprised quite a few people looking at based off their record and where they're at. Now, where are you headed this week? Are you going to Miami tomorrow or what?
Interestingly, no. I actually this week have a CBS doubleheader, which I've never done before. Saturday, I've got Army at Air Force at noon Eastern, 11 o'clock for you guys. Actually, 10 o'clock Mountain Time, that's going to be the earliest the game has started in college football.
Yeah.
So 10 o'clock out in Colorado Springs, and I love those games for all the reasons everybody should love those games. And then I think there's one flight from Denver to Nashville. I'll be on it because I've got your LA Chargers against the Titans on Sunday. So it actually will be back-to-back weeks where I'm seeing the Chargers, who, they've done some impressive things. I mean, obviously they beat the Chiefs in the opener. It's unfortunate how many injuries they've suffered, and I think they're in the same boat as every other year where people won't really believe they'll win a playoff game until they win a playoff game.
Right.
But Herbert is he's like, I think you could argue Herbert and Josh Allen are like the two quarterbacks that are most built in a lab. I don't know if you guys have seen Herbert up close. He's like 6'6", 235. He's legitimately fast, runs a 4.6. He's got a great arm. I mean, he's all of the things that you could put into a computer program, and then he's going to have to show it in the playoffs that he's got the ability to elevate a team there. Although I would also say I'm not sure he's had necessarily, great teams around him in those games. And I don't know if he does it this year either.
I feel like Gadsden's been the biggest surprise for me on the Chargers end. I was like, they had him on the bench for 3 weeks and then just decided or realized he was a really good player?
Well, I mean, he's a rookie 5th-round pick. And I think, watching him, Cody, like preparing for this game, boy, he struggles as a blocker. Not only physically, but it looks to me like he's making a mental error or two at least every game. So he probably did that in training camp in the preseason. They probably were real hesitant to put him out there. But then he's just such a good route runner and such a mismatch at that position that they just kind of had to. And, they had some injuries or whatever. And now it's like, oh man, we got to use him out there. And they can't only have him out there to throw it to him. So he's got to be out there for some runs. But I think that's why. I think he's like 235 pounds. I think that's why he didn't go to the 5th round, and probably why he didn't play the first couple weeks.
So that was Ross Tucker earlier today with us, our Odyssey NFL insider. At the end, they're talking about Oronde Gadsden, very talented young tight end for the Los Angeles Chargers, who the Chiefs really didn't see in week one. He wasn't playing at that point in time, but has become a huge part of their offensive scheme and is